But just for context, given because of how far away we are, the usage fee for the M&S ad is 18 grand for a year.
Holy sh**.
Are we starting? Is it the part where we're like, oh, is it starting? But it started.
Well, now that you've said that, it is that start. That's a nice way of like starting it without like needing it to be like a moment.
Very good.
Well done.
I'm an expert in the art of engineering moments.
Yeah. And who gave you that title?
I'm a moment engineer. What do you do for a living?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Capsule. As you may hear by our tones, it may be a more calm episode today.
Or it may not.
Or it may not, because we have Jenny who goes both ways.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Talking about
Whoa.
energy.
Whoa.
Well, it's been a while, Genevieve. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How are you?
Yeah, good.
Good.
What's so funny?
I don't know. Your responses.
Oh,
How's it going?
yeah, good.
I loving
Thanks.
the headwear and the glasses. Is this supposed to be up or is this supposed to be down one side?
I don't know.
Have you styled it like that on purpose?
I'm like Paddington Bear goes to Compton.
Cool. We like
Very
that.
good.
This is the energy I'm going for today.
Yeah, we like it. Now you're a bit Blues Brothers.
Yeah, it's given Blues Brothers.
It's gonna change throughout the episode.
Okay, cool.
It's gonna evolve.
We won't label it every time.
Yeah.
Okay. Or will we?
She's like, so shut-
Will we? Also, we have Talladega.
Nice.
That's hot tea. We haven't got any hot tea for today, have we really?
Maybe.
Have we? Oh, I don't know.
Hot topics.
Hot
takes.
topics, but I didn't mean the
No.
but that's none of my business
no,
situations.
No. Just hot takes.
Yeah, we might have some hot takes actually. We had some hot takes from the flipping audience. There's some interesting.
Yeah, I saw. It's like, let's have topics to discuss. These are my opinions.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's like when they just came at it with a. It's like, this is a thing, and it's like, well, how can we debate that then? It's either I'm going to say you're wrong
Thanks for
or
your
I agree with
thoughts.
you.
Yeah.
How are you? How's life? What's happening?
Good. I taught again.
Oh yeah,
Like
you
I
did.
did
I got that
repeat.
flipped me out because I was like, I thought that was the one that we spoke
Right.
about, and I was like,
No.
was that this Sunday or was it? Yeah, so you did.
No,
two.
I did
Okay.
it again. I caught the bug a little bit.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was great. I'm really glad that I did it. And I was like really energetic and, my stupid jokes and that the first time was like, let's do it again in the more mellow version.
Was that linked to like the song choice and the vibe?
No, I think it was just like, hadn't done it since March. I think I just popped myself in like what the structure of 90 minutes or choreo classes is. And then I was like, that was nice. But the spaces I hold are really nothing like that.
Right.
So let's like let it settle in the middle of the two.
And it had
things.
also been a while since you'd done that, right? So maybe it was like a bit of reverting back to the default of like, oh, I'm teaching a class, let me just...
Yeah. Which was still like my version of
that,
but I was like, I take my shoes off and like turn the lights off and like we do freestyle stuff and let's do some of that, lady. So we did.
Hey, lady.
So we did and it was good.
I would love to hear your inner monologue. I feel like it'd be hilarious.
It's a good time.
Take your shoes off, lady. What are you doing?
But that's what happens when I'm spiking in energy is the inner monologue comes out of my mouth to the room.
Which I
is
always
fun
find
for
very
them.
entertaining.
Yeah, same. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, please laugh at me.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. I'm laughing at me.
I love
I
that.
feel like when you teach a class, there's something of a like entertainer that comes out also.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
like,
in general, you mean not just tally or tally?
I mean, no, but I feel like I got that when I was teaching too, that it's like, oh, you guys are going to follow me. So that means I have an audience. So show is on.
But someone told me that when I first started teaching though, that it's like, that teaching is a performance as well, which I think is a good way to think of it, because it's like not only do you have to impart knowledge, whatever you're teaching, but part of public speaking or anything like that is like holding people's attention, and it's like they're not gonna get the right information or have the right experience if you don't hold their attention, I guess. So it's like you do have to be a bit of a performer, and whether that's through making them laugh or setting the environment or something, it's like you are kind of putting on this like show of.
I thought of this for III, like we do writing exercises, but I was like, I get really annoyed and a little bit judgy with people that do speak publicly and not like particularly well. And I was like, maybe that's something like, what exercises could I do to practice that? People will hate it.
Wait, hold on.
Public speaking, or just like how to vocally
express yourself.
But why did that link with the writing you said?
Because I do it with writing, like writing copy for yourself, or like who am I as a creative artist on paper, but like doing it out loud, I think is something worth training.
Yeah, I feel like mine has way improved since doing the pod, I think. No, thanks.
I mean, I don't think you were bad anyway.
Well, I remember when it was actually funnily after I'm sure I told you this, but after your episode, like, which you were like the 4th, I think, or 3rd or something. But I was like, I almost had a fucking breakdown after your episode.
I remember that.
You did tell me about
and
it. Yeah.
Jen was like consoling me through it, but I was like, because it was just so much like, I don't know, for 3 episodes or 4 episodes of doing it, it was just so much like, all of this is going to be recorded, everyone's going to listen to it. I'm used to talking and having an opinion, but not like verbally.
It.
Yeah.
and for like 2 hours or whatever. But even like I hosted Joe's thing, and it's like, I don't know that I would have been any good at hosting events like 2-3 years ago. But I think now, having done this for so long, and the live pods really helped as well. I've done 3 or 4 of those now. So when I did that, I was like, oh, this is like, it's actually less stress than podding, because it's like, it's not supposed to be about, well, not that this is supposed to be about me, but like I have to.
You're responsible for something else going well.
Exactly, yeah. The show is us talking, whereas when I'm hosting an event, the show is not us talking. Yes. I just talk to supplement the whatever's going on, which is way easier for me.
I have a funny
can we say hi to Sophia first?
Yes.
So sorry.
Hi, Sophia.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's all right.
Behind the mic of steel.
The mic of steel, why?
Because normally it's like wheels of steel, but there's no wheels.
That's the DJ though.
Yeah, I know, but she's kind of the vocal DJ of this episode.
I like the way you say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
me too.
Conductor, almost.
Yes.
The vocal conductor.
Yes.
How's it going? How's life? What's going on?
Yeah, life's good. Back to uni finally.
Yes.
After 2 months of break.
2 months.
Yeah.
What is this, summertime? Was I not aware that this was June and July?
2 months.
Yeah, this uni is just, the breaks are too long.
Yeah, no Sade.
What is it? A fucking dance event? Carry on.
But yeah, it was good. There's some new classes, new teachers.
Drop names.
Oh my god.
She's back.
She is back.
I have Afro classes with Uncle TC now.
Oh,
Okay,
sick.
fun.
Which is really cool because
Oh,
it's
treats.
a new module.
Yeah.
Because they used to have dancehall. They changed it to Afro.
Why? Is there a reason?
Yeah, I think there was a problem with the teacher.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know the details. Oh, yeah. And I have Clara again for hip hop this term.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
This time. So finally doing hip hop after 3 years on the urban dance course.
That's funny.
Nice.
Really? You wait? What?
Because of the pandemic, or?
No,
They just do like house and all the other styles.
Right.
Yeah,
Not hip hop as a
there's
style.
Interesting.
They really put hip hop at the end, but like Clara explained this morning that it's because
No one cares about hip hop.
no,
I care about hip hop now.
because like
These were her exact
it's much
words.
more deeper than the other styles. Like the way she teaches it, like she thinks we need a better, like we'll have a better understanding in further.
Now
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, like
Interesting.
after all these years. So yeah.
That's interesting. Like I think that's true, actually, and I think you would be like, as a dancer doing hip hop freestyle, you're more likely to be good at it with a bit more experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a bit more stuff under your belt to bring to the style.
Right.
Because I feel like it's kind of it's because it how do I say this, like, because it's so wide and loose and there's so many different ways you could take it and you can kind of do anything. It's like it's almost like too much freedom for someone that dances immaturely, I find. It's like once you've built up a bit of whatever that means, vocabulary, discipline, like then you're like, oh, I'm going to take all this stuff and then use it in the playground, which is hip hop, as opposed to just being a young dancer. But I can do anything. I'm going to do 7 backflips in a row. And you can kind of get away with it. I'm obviously exaggerating, but not much. Like, so I think because it's wide, it's, I mean, yeah, in an ideal world, it should be only the more experienced and deeper dancers that succeed in the battle world, but it's not always the case. But yeah, all that to say you started hip hop. Sick.
Yeah, it was really cool this morning. Did a lot of freestyle.
Nice.
With like training like our habits and like realizing where our habits are, and also like saying to each other where our habits are, like without realizing it. So we were dancing like in front of each other, and like it was funny because we were like all in a line and everyone was going one by one, and then we had to like retain like 1 point about each person, and then everyone would turn around and each person would go to say what the habits of the other person was. And it's so funny because like you stand there and people come and show you your habits that you don't even realize you're doing. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, this is it sounds like a tally classic as well.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like it.
Yeah, if you haven't been to one of her things, I think you specifically would love it.
Yeah.
April 10th to April 14th.
There you go.
2023.
Big announcement.
Easter, is it Easter week or?
The second week of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I dressed for the occasion.
Yeah, because you're not
did.
coming Jam Festival.
Probably.
Is it the same time?
Yeah, same week. But
I'm not sure yet. To be
yeah,
honest.
if you're not coming, because you said you probably wouldn't, I think.
Yeah, no.
I
But
didn't
if you
check the
don't-
calendar.
You didn't check.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
right.
should have checked the
Well, I think
calendar.
I feel like it's different audiences.
Yeah, because it's at the same time as Take Flight as well,
Ye-
which it was last year too.
Is it?
Yeah, and
I mean,
when I
it's hard when
saw
it's-
Kerry drop that, I was like, maybe I should move it. But there's something cool to me that they do happen at the same time, just in like, because I know how wild it gets over there in the best way. And
Is that in Ireland?
Yeah, there is a bit of a crossover with people, I think, but
Yeah, but it's also
It
when
is
you're
what it
offering
is.
something different, I think it's not that big of a deal. Or, you know what I mean? It's like you're offering a different vibe or a different, so you can make
Yeah.
that choice based on that. It's not like sometimes when there's battle events, it's literally like hip hop and popping and breaking, hip hop and popping and breaking, same weekend. It's
Yes,
like, guys,
yeah.
get it together. Like,
yeah,
literally same audience. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Also, you guys are home. I realize you guys are here too.
I owe you one. I owe you something.
Yeah, I still didn't do it, so.
Yeah, I owe
Be
you
that
something.
week.
I owe you something.
Interesting. Transactions happening on the capsule.
Yes.
Why you always?
Where are the headphones?
We done away with that a long time ago. 'Cause
But-
we're free. We're open to the air,
Well,
so
I
our
can't
ears
tell-
don't get sweaty.
I can't tell if I'm speaking in the mic now.
She has headphones.
You are.
Oh, okay.
Everything's fine.
Okay. Cool.
You're the best.
Agreed.
And cool. And back to uni. So yeah, and also, do you want to give us a quick update on your audition?
Oh my god.
It's like, no, I don't.
Your audition. What did you audition for?
Oh my god. So I auditioned for the for the show Free Your Mind with Boy Blue. The one that is gonna happen in Manchester from August to no, it's not from August to November. It's in those 3 months. Like I know there's rehearsal and show, but I'm not really sure how long the show is. So yeah, I auditioned for that. It was last week in London, and the previous week they did in Manchester.
Is it like a theater? What's the?
It's
Yeah.
for the factory. There's a new venue there,
Oh,
and they're doing a big old immersive. Like it's mass. I think it's like 40, 50 people.
Whoa.
god damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's all paid.
Mm.
Well, for the audition, obviously. For the audition, obviously. For the people that audition, obviously it is. But I'm pretty sure they will have some other roles.
Like
Yes, they do.
Ah,
Like
open-
Olympics vibes,
Got ya.
a little bit. So yeah, not paid for everyone.
So yeah, the show is based on the movie Matrix,
Ah.
which is cool, I guess.
What year were you born?
Huh?
What year were you born?
2000.
Stresses me out.
Oh, you weren't alive?
Matrix came out in 99.
But I do love Matrix, so
But that, like, I was 10 when that came out, and I feel like that was like beautiful age to see something like that. Because it was a bit too old for me, so I still had that like.
Yeah.
So you still didn't get it.
I still didn't 100% get all the like ramifications of it and stuff, but just watching something that I know is meant for older people, and I'm like watching that. I had it on VHS with like a special edition shit that I got for Christmas or something, but it was like, this movie is the coolest shit ever, and especially CGI at that time was like the top of the range.
Yes.
Oh my god, that movie was so good when I was a kid.
I watched Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet with someone the
Is
other
that the
day,
one
and I don't think they were alive.
Which one is Baz
came
Luhrmann's one with Leonardo?
Yeah.
Leo.
Leo. Sorry,
Yeah,
that was
quite an old one
loud.
as well.
Yeah, the person I was watching it with wasn't alive
Wow,
when it
so
came out, so that's
brilliant.
That's nice.
It's crazy.
you little youngins. And how did you find the audition? You said it was super easy, like no trouble.
literally,
Chilling,
I'm
not a
honestly gonna
bead of
get it.
sweat to be found.
She was like texting in the middle of the routine. Like,
I feel like the audition would probably be like, you have to jump and touch the ceiling and then lie
you
down on the
cut. Yeah.
floor.
you just show up and it's like
was something
a
like
military assault course, and Kenrick's at the end, just like, it's like,
Just like-
first one to make it gets the job.
No, first one to make it here learns a 4-minute choreo.
Yes. And then must lift me at the end.
And it ends with the, what is it? Time of your life?
The Dirty Dancing lift.
Yes, with Kenrick.
Yeah.
And I won't run.
With
You've
Kenrick.
just like,
Just stand there like this.
just get me up.
Yeah. He's the girl and you're Patrick Swayze.
And then we may see you at the recall. We'll get back to you.
Oh, minus points for being out of breath.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was hard work.
Yeah, it was. We did 2 routines, and one was really based on martial arts. So there was a lot of like floor work and like, yeah, it was very like, you can tell.
She's tired just thinking about it.
Literally. Especially like the moment we did it in groups, like not only you needed to do the routine like a few times in a row, but in between there was like 4/8 of traveling across the floor and then changing the direction.
We weren't far off. Yeah.
And then for the second time you change direction, like where you're facing. So yeah, that was the tricky part, I think. Or even no, before that, we started the audition and he did like a 4/8 warm-up routine. And it was like, I think the hardest routine I've ever learned in my life, honestly.
Like physically or
Yeah.
okay.
Like honestly, I was struggling. Like, yeah.
I hate auditions. Well, no, I don't hate auditions. I just don't love them.
Yeah,
Just-
it was stress.
yeah.
Like, and then the second part was more like popping, and like a choreo with more like lines precision. So that was a bit more comfortable for me. And we ended the audition with group contact improv. Yes.
Yeah, we were saying like auditions and contact improv don't really go together very well because
No.
everyone's focused on displaying themselves, which is like the antithesis of what contact improv is about.
Yeah, and also I feel
It
like
reminds me of Cypher prelims. Exactly the same thing.
Right,
if you're with someone who's trash, like if you're paired in contact improv with somebody,
No, but I don't think they're paired. It's just a big group.
Yeah, there was like 7-8 of us in the group.
But it's more like I'm not supporting this moment when it's supposed to be about
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
So I'm
Yeah.
just going to drop
Yeah.
you, literally, and just that would be
yeah,
hard.
but meaning even if it's a group contact improv, if there's like 3 or 4 people that really aren't with it, it just fucks
It makes
for
you,
everybody.
it makes you
Yeah.
look like you also don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
But
Yeah, that's hard.
but I mean, I guess that's the point, to just
Yeah.
put you in a whole bunch of difficult situations and
Yes.
see how you handle it.
Yes.
Yeah, if they're judging it on how you handle it as opposed to how well you actually did improv wise, I
Yeah.
guess, then it's
Yeah.
fine.
And especially because he gave us words, so there was a theme to it. And the thing is that you go to someone and try to build something, and they just turn around and like leave, and you just
Yeah.
like, what do I
Just
do
like,
now?
well,
Thanks for that.
Literally.
Everyone just going towards the boy blue member that's probably
Yeah.
going to get the gig. It's like, I want to contact improv with you.
And they're just standing there like, yes, come.
with what's his name, there's so Kendrick is H2O, and then there's a guy Hydro
Kelsey.
yeah. So it's like everyone would be like,
Sick. Shall we run some news
Yes, let's do this.
before
oh,
we?
what's going on this week?
Bulletin.
All right.
The
So-
bulletin.
We need a little news
Capsule
jingle.
bulletin.
Yeah, I can do a little music. Dun, 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 dun. There we go.
Very good. We brainstormed
Right.
sounds.
Pull the
last
mic
time.
down a little bit,
No.
or pull you up a bit.
She has headphones.
How
She
do
knows
you
what's
know?
going on.
Well,
Yeah, you
well,
don't know anything.
well, no,
Jenny's right.
don't take her side because you had headphones when we did the watch party, And
What happened?
And the
And-
watch party was amazing.
no, the what?
Oh.
Well, because
Oh
I
no, it
couldn't
was the one
speak half of
before.
it.
What was the one where we watched and you were speaking super quiet?
Yeah, but you put the mic on the other side of the room. Like, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to do, man?
Let the producer produce. And shut your mouth.
Excuse me.
I mean it. Capsule bulletin. I'm in charge. Look at me. I am the captain now.
You come in once every 6 months and you want to put your little stupid foot down.
You know that's right.
I'm glad you're finding this.
Your little stupid foot down. That's so juvenile. You do it once every 6 months and want to come and put your stupid little foot down.
If we were recorded, that would have been way more vulgar.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we mentioned it a few weeks ago, but Primal Instincts are organizing their events this Sunday at Wembley Box Park. It's going to be a 3v3 breaking battle.
Yup.
And yeah, remember to grab a ticket in the link in their bio on the Instagram, because there is a limit to the number of people that can go.
They're free though.
Yes, it's free. Thank you.
But you got a book.
Yes. Our dear Delay announced their showcase event happening on the 10th of February.
We love that second year anniversary.
that.
Yeah.
And it's gonna showcase like a lot of young people, which is really cool. I think like a great platform for upcoming.
Where is it?
At Devas?
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I always want to say
cool.
Divas. Like they should definitely just change the name of that place to
Yeah.
Divas. It's Divas, guys. Guys, it's Divas. I
Like-
know you want to say Devas, but it's Divas. It's spelled. It's scones and it's Devas. Did she just turn off my mic?
No.
Did she just turn off my mic? Oh, she got to turn off. I thought she turned off my mic.
Wow. I
10th
would
of
have
February.
respected that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, 10th of February. They're celebrating the second year of doing this stuff.
Which
We've had
stuff?
them on the pod before. The two guys that came.
But 2 years of celebrating what they're
like doing their YouTube channel
Oh,
and
okay,
doing what
okay.
they do, basically like
Yeah.
vlogging and YouTubing and all that.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a great thing. I really like what they do. Really support them. So
Yeah.
definitely check out their channel. They do a lot of cool YouTube videos and they're really growing. The more they do, the better it's getting. And I'm happy to see them taking it into real life as well. They've been shooting some videos for some people and just being resourceful, which we love.
Yeah.
They're going IRL.
Yes, they are going TRL.
So it's a showcase event.
Yes.
Okay.
Showcase events.
Like choreography.
Probably they're doing little showcases. I'm not sure
Yeah.
that they've released the exact details of what that is, but I think it's like a dance night that you can go and watch.
They announced like some of the people that are gonna perform. I feel like it's kind of Dancers Delight vibe, where like people just come and perform. Like
Sick.
yeah.
Here for that.
Really cool.
That place is a good venue as well.
Is it on the calendar?
Yes, it is.
Boom!
I did this morning.
Hey, go see on the
Bam.
calendar if you want to find out more about it on the capsule. Is it thecapsule.com?
Yes, thecapsuleldn.com. We have our own website now, guys.
Yeah.
It's still under
Oh
construction.
my god.
What else we got?
So in the house announced their paintings week finally from the 23rd to the 26th of February, and that's all the information we have.
Yes, we have to stay tuned.
Okay.
So
It might
we
have
will
come out
see.
by the time this comes out, so go and check the In the House UK page. But it also might not have. But yeah, those are the dates. Lock them in your diary.
Yeah.
It tends to be an evening-y type of thing, the paintings weeks, right? Like it's like events in the evening. They don't maybe they have some workshops and stuff, but
Well, I feel like it used to be like the week that would lead up to Jeux Debout. So it was a bunch of workshops and stuff like that. So I
True.
think the schedule kind of probably
Might
has
change.
changed. And
okay.
I don't even, was there one last year?
Yeah, there was
there
a Kingdoms
was.
League because in the paintings week is Clara's installment of the Kingdoms League. So the Kingdoms League will officially start up again with the paintings week. So be there or be pointless. Not as a person, just you will have 0
Just your
points.
existence.
Although Nick won with 0 points, so maybe you don't need points. But can you beat Nick? That's also the question. That's for you to decide, guys. I believe in you.
And In the House also announced their mentorship, annual mentorship edition on the 18th and 19th of February.
Which is before that.
Yeah, it's before that. So check their Instagram page to have more information.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we have some winners from last weekend.
Let's hit it.
So firstly, we have Braze, who won Crump event in Barcelona called the Bonfire 2023, and which was a qualifier for the Crump Fest that is going to happen in France.
Nice.
Ooh.
Do you know that I actually mentored him in Crump? No, I can't.
Did you know that he
guys, that was a
he
joke.
was at UMA at one point?
Shut up. She always makes fun of me because everyone was in UMA.
Oh, was
There
he?
was so many. No, he wasn't, but there was just
fair.
so many people in UMA.
Right.
Everyone might have been in
Fair
UMA.
enough.
Yeah,
I was.
Were you?
No.
I was
No,
kind of.
you definitely weren't.
I did a battle with UMA.
Yeah, then we won. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, you're welcome.
No, you're welcome.
No, I think you're welcome.
Carry on. Take it away.
Okay, and we also had the UBG battles that happened in Wales.
Yep. They're the first time running that event, so congrats to them.
Nice. Kane won the hip hop in the final versus Quake. Livu won breaking. UPG won 3v3, and that's it.
So
Cool.
wait.
UPG won UBG.
Oh, UBG. It's not their event.
No, it's Ultimate Battleground, I think, and it's in Wales. I think some of the guys from Jukebox are involved in that one. But yeah, UPG went up there and happened to win.
Okay, because I was like, wait, did UBG win the UBG battle?
No.
But it's just because I'm deaf.
Yes.
Carry on.
Sorry, because I speak in the mic and like I need to speak louder because you don't hear me.
Okay.
Use your diaphragm. No, you're doing very good. Okay. I'm just joking.
And finally, New Movements announced an under 18 battle, which is the first round is going to happen online. So it's online prelims. And the event is going to be on the 18th of February.
If
so
you get
the
through.
people that get qualified online will go through to them.
It may be a kind of private only event, so it's not necessarily like an open thing that just anyone can go to,
Right.
because there are venue restrictions at ELD, which we've
Yeah.
found
yeah.
out about.
Yeah.
I think this is quite a clever way of circumnavigating that. Is that a right way to say that? Circumcising that. So the online prelims are there, and then they know how many people they're inviting, and they can do the battles there. And then maybe, I don't know, you get like a guest or something to come and support you, but then it's not just an open thing. I don't know how that all works, like financially or whatever, but in terms of running an event, I like the online prelim thing.
Yeah.
I think there should be more ways of making prelims less boring anyway.
Yes.
So
It's a shame that all the attention that having online prelims will generate can't, like, everyone that then becomes interested won't be able to
exactly.
go.
Yeah.
But from a time saving perspective, that is great.
Yeah. And also just shout out to New Movements. They've been running under 18s battles for a long time. Some people that are like young adults in the scene are like, because of the events that they used to, not only because, but like they had a place to play and explore and battle without getting their heads kicked in by 25-year-olds. So they were allowed to like grow a bit, and now they've kind of grown up in the scene, like people like Josh I don't know, I forgot how to say his name. Costanzo. It's because Abe messed it up by saying Constantanzo.
Because he said
people
Josh
like
Sexy Costanzo.
Yeah, people like him. Who else used to be at that? There's a lot of, I mean, Lewis used to be there. There's a lot of that generation that started at that. So yeah, they've been running battles for a long, long time, and I'm happy to see them kind of going back into it. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what they do.
Amazing.
Smashing it.
And that was it for the news for this week.
Boom!
Check the calendar.
You just got newsed.
Check the calendar. It was updated
That
this
jingle?
morning.
Can be.
There's some news in your face for your face. Oh, am I doing? No?
No, I reject it.
Okay.
Do better.
Okay. All right. What else we got?
Okay.
Okay. Let's move on to look, where were we last Saturday?
We were at Back to the Lab at Sadler's Wells in Islington.
I didn't know that you went. I thought it was just Sophia. Wow. Go alto. Sorry.
No,
you're done?
I feel like Tali kind of concluded it.
I thought you were going to come in for like
wrap.
16 bars of...
And just take us. Oh,
Yeah.
bars.
Yeah, you know, with the... I don't know. So we went to Back to the Lab.
we did.
It was your first time ever at a breaking convention. Like, you went to breaking convention before.
Never.
You popped your
Oh,
cherry.
yeah.
Event, yeah.
Oh, we're definitely going to the main one then this year.
Yeah,
You
definitely
broke
go.
your cherry. Breaking
Very good,
cherry
very good.
convention.
All right.
Good.
Well, So that was your first time at any breaking convention thing ever.
Yes.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
I told you.
No, I knew that you hadn't been to like one of their development things, but I didn't know you hadn't even been to the main one.
Nope.
That's so it's sort of one of those things you just feel like everyone in the scene has been to a breaking convention thing.
No, because the first time I was, there was COVID, so it didn't happen. I think, or it was online. And last year I was working, so I couldn't go.
Right.
So yeah. But
Yeah, so so your first time, you have done open heart surgery and back to the lab.
Yeah.
Open heart surgery by yourself.
No, I did it with Jack Pointer McKenzie.
Aha. And then, did I even see that? Maybe. And then you did 2 back to the labs, one with Carrie Ann and one with Quayle.
Yeah, so as a dancer for Carrie Ann and then as a fellow
Mutual.
maker with Quails.
Lovely. And you have done back to the lab and open heart surgery.
I've done in 1 year. I did open surgery, and
Open
then I
heart
did
surgery.
and then I did back to the lab, and then I did the main stage. Like
1 year.
I just
wow.
You just completed all the
Notched
breaking
them up.
convention
Nice.
levels.
yeah.
Yeah, it should be like a bingo. BC.
Yeah.
BC bingo.
Yo, we could make that like if what you've performed or battled at, like in
Yeah, my only question is how come I wasn't invited on the tour the following year? That would have only made sense.
Well, I'm sure that was based on
How good the piece is.
Yeah, I was like the quality of the work.
I mean, that's only fair. I look at it at
Who did you do main
Pax.
stage with?
Pax.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Did Trap Lord do that year?
no, this was way before that. I
Oh.
think.
No,
think-
not way before.
Well, this was the year we met. So that's
What year is
6 years
that?
ago.
Yeah, but Trap Lord
Oh, maybe.
was born in
Yeah.
like 2015.
No, I think it was a year before.
Right. I
I
think
think-
I was there.
Yeah,
think.
I'm sure you.
No, I saw your Back to the Lab
yeah.
or
with
Open
Pax.
Art.
Yeah.
I saw that one, yeah. Sorry.
What have I've done open art once, twice, maybe 3 times. I think. I want to say 3 times. I've never done back to
Well,
the lab.
look at us reeling off our credits.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're somewhat famous, you know. If you needed to know why we were qualified to sit in front of these microphones, you just got it.
go.
So where did all of these pieces?
Because you went on
lead
Saturday.
to?
You
We
went
were
on
talking
Saturday.
about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean like where did we get
It's like
after we did those
next
pieces?
topic.
Did we take them anywhere?
No.
None of our. That I'm just
Oh,
balancing boasting with
No, that is very true.
all of my pieces tanked.
And like a solid, like now running the artists, like, you know, in professional development, like that is a thing. Like
to push on to the next.
just cultivating ideas and providing a space for them to be born. But then like, where do they?
Well, I think it's super interesting because I
Go.
feel like with Back to the Lab and Open Art, I feel like it's a really kind of strange, if you want to see it that way, or great middle ground between a sharing and a debut of a piece.
Yeah.
So it's like on one end you could look at it as like a sharing, like we would usually have in a studio or something, where it's like, here's what we've been working on in our R&D or our creation for a week or 2 weeks. Everyone come and have a look at it. And usually those would be a lot smaller and a lot more like we all just kind of come into the studio
Informal.
and informal, and you don't even really have seats or there's no lighting or anything like that, right? Or you could look at it as the debut of a new piece, right? Which is like
That's finished.
and it's like, oh, here's my new piece and this is me showing it to all the people I want to invite and I don't know, programmers or whoever you would want to invite to that. And then it's like, from here, now we're going to start, this is the start of the piece's journey, and obviously it's going to be developed and you're going to apply for funding and get more do more work on the piece to build it. But this is me saying, here is my first go at it kind of thing, right? And I think Back to Lab and Open Art sit right in the middle of that thing, because it's not one and it's not the other. Well, it is and it isn't both. You know what I mean? It's like we kind of have just threw this together in a week, but it also is me saying, here's the done piece. You know what I mean? It's
Well, it's kind of a sharing with production value.
yeah, I mean, well, you can use it either way. if you
Yeah,
want
and I
to.
guess there's different people that use it for in different ways, where you have some people that have an idea that's already matured in their head and that they've already kind of worked on, and so they kind of know what they want to do
Exactly,
with the
yeah.
week and what they want to achieve. And then there's some people that just go with like a very, very early stage of an idea, or maybe not an idea at all, and they just want to try something.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of
Make
get
of
the
it what you-
space for depending on what level you're at, but it would be, I guess, like before the stage where you're like kind of almost finished and just looking for production, like stage time.
Yeah.
For anyone that isn't aware, the audience also give feedback after they've seen the work, which is a thing. And I think it's like the pieces don't come with disclaimers. So they watch, I think the audience like watch them with similar eyes without, oh, this was just an idea they played with and they're probably never going to go near it again. Or like this person's had this idea for months and like this is
you don't know anything.
Like you don't know anything. Because when you said about the debut and inviting people, I was like, I don't think I'd invite any producers or anything to Back to the Lab, because what if the audience like rip it to pieces?
True. Or unless you're really confident, like you're like, all right, this is me just doing like a third draft of this same thing I've done already. I know how audience react. Like,
which kind of was like when Quayle and I did it, it was like a scene of a thing that was already in existence. I haven't been for a while, but like that part of it
can be intense.
It can be intense, to be in the audience for and to be on the stage receiving. I just think it can get really
a lot,
especially it's like with informal sharings. Generally all the creatives involved have invited those people, so they want those specific people's opinions. Where Back to the Lab is cheap, but the audience have paid to be there and they know what their role there is, and like that can really be amped up in parts, can't it?
Yes. And I think the other thing that's worth mentioning on that is like, if I invite you or invite Jen, whoever, to come and watch a piece that I'm like doing as a sharing, and I want you to give me feedback, A, like you said, I've invited you because I want your feedback, but also B, there's a certain level of like, you have experience giving feedback, so you know how to give feedback, right? And I think that's like it goes a long way, because it's like you also know what the journey of a piece is, and you're like, right, this has only been, this is what you've made in a week, okay, cool, well in that case here's my feedback. Or this has been like an 8-week fucking creation or whatever, well then you know, or whatever it might be. And it's also like the difference of, you might, let's say if you're coming to watch my piece, you might watch something not completely, like not understand it at all, but then ask me, oh, well, what was your intention? Okay, well then if that was your intention, I'm not getting that, but maybe we can help you. Like you're giving me feedback based on things that can help my development of the piece. And I think my only, not criticism, but it's just something that I don't like about the open art or Back to the Lab feedback from the general public, is that they sometimes, and it's kind of part of the charm of it, I guess, it just depends. I've just been in the shoes of an artist on the stage and I haven't so much loved it, where they don't know how to give feedback necessarily, right? And what ends up happening is that people take it as a like, almost like a fun, like, can you tell us your thoughts about this piece, which is fine if I'm standing next to you in a gallery and we're looking at a pen. I'm like, well, what do you reckon that's about? And you're like, oh, I reckon it's about this. And then I'm like, no, I think it's about that. But when you're doing it to the artist who's just spent a week creating it and you're saying, well, you know, I see a really like deep dark struggle with this, and you're like, you're trying to get something positive across, and they're like, yeah, I just saw you looked so in pain, and you're like, you know, or something like that. Or it's like completely the opposite, or you're just saying something like, I don't know,
I'd like to see you go more down the road of whatever.
And there's also a touch of like, sometimes, depending on who's in the audience, it can be their time to shine, in the sense of like, I've got a mic, like, let me tell you how I know how to dissect theatre. And it's like, well, the intricate themes of the third act were really like present in the book. And it's like, and it sometimes feels like there's people, and
a bit of self-indulgence.
Yeah, a bit of a self-indulgence. And I think that's normal and natural, and it happens when you're just an audience member, but you get given a mic to speak in front of everyone.
Yes.
And we're performers, so we're used to quelling that part of us in order to give real feedback.
And I think once you've been once and you know what it is, it all makes sense and is, there's nothing wrong with any of it.
No,
but I think when you haven't been or don't quite know the nature of what might come back, like it is a bit of a shock to the
I think you definitely have to be prepared for those type of things. They're not, I mean, it's also, I think it's a bit what do you call that, disarming, because like the Breaking Convention team are so friendly and nice, and it's like you go and you see Johns's like big smiley face, and like Michelle's super helpful, and everyone who's there is always super lovely to you, and you're like, what, this is gonna be a breeze, and then you're like, holy shit, this was a tough fucking week. You know what I mean? It's like you do need a bit of a like not keep your walls up, but what's the word, like keep a bit of a thick skin with it. It's going to be a tough week.
And I think it's similar to, no, it's not about auditions at all, actually. I can't make that connection, but it's like just remembering why like you're there.
Yes.
And doing it. And if it is because you know the piece really well and it is about like kind of gaining some insight as to what people think of it, then cool. But if it's like just about the time in the room and you kind of want to put a filter between yourself and the audience so you're not mega affected by the feedback, like that's fine as well. But I think just going in like whatever happens, I think you could be prone to actually
get lost,
being quite affected.
I think that's a good artistic tip anyway, is like if you're too open and free with anything, you can really get pulled, because a lot of people have a lot of strong opinions about art in general, which is what makes it beautiful. But whether that's like the Breaking Convention team and like giving the mentors and stuff, giving their feedback, whether it's the audience, whether it's the other dancers, whether it's people in the week that you show a half finished work on your phone and they say, oh, I don't like this part, and you're like, I just spent 3 hours working on that part, what do you mean you don't like it? And it's like you kind of have to always have your compass set in the right way, if that makes sense, because it's and a nice balance with not having it too set so that you don't listen to anyone's feedback. I've done both. I've done both extremes where I'm like, no one tell me anything, I'm doing it how I want the whole week.
Just showing it to you.
And then I've got the other end where I'm like, everyone give me your feedback, and both killed me. So it's like I think the third time we did it, we nailed it, like in terms of approach. But it's worth a bit of prep.
Who did you see?
So Sophia over there, you can't see her, guys. We'll maybe try and get a second camera at some point. But Sophia is actually writing a review on Back to the Lab, which will be published on the Capsule website.
Published writer.
Yeah.
Very good. Are you doing like pills?
Well, sorry.
I was like, is she doing pills when she's writing?
Like rating.
Just like on the wall in blood.
Yeah, are you popping before you
well,
go in?
we usually would do pills today now. So we're doing a double review. We're doing this one and we're going to do the written one. We would do it. However, something worth keeping in mind for us is that they're all work in progress pieces, or we're treating them as such. So even if people think that there's this finished, whatever, we're going to review it and speak about it as if it's a work in progress, should you want to expand and build on it. So it doesn't feel right to do the capsule pill rating today, because it's like we can rate maybe approach or something like that, but to say the piece is like a 2 out of 5 when you're like, I'm not done, like
because then you'd be doing
what we just said. So but Sophia's going to take the lead with her thoughts on the pieces, and I will chime in as I usually do.
Okay.
Hit it!
All right. So I really didn't understand what you said, but okay.
I said, hit it!
Yeah, I got it after like a few seconds.
Hit it!
It's fine. All right. So I don't know if it's usual. I don't know if it's usual, but there was 4 artists.
There's usually more. She asked a question.
No, there's actually a question, yes.
She said, I don't know if it's usual. All right, no, Tally's going to tell you.
No, it's fine. Yeah. 4?
Is there usually 4? Because open art is like 6.
Interesting. But I think, because the open art, you have like 5 days and then the sharing, and then Back to the Lab, you have a week of learning, and then the week of making. And I think Back to the Lab, you're supposed to have the idea.
Right.
And I think you can have maybe more people with you. So I think there's less artists that do it. And I think you're paid more too.
Right, got you.
Yeah.
Or the expenses are higher, whatever.
All right, thank you.
That's okay.
Yeah, so that was 4 artists this year that presented some work. So firstly, we had Big Girl Ambush, which she also had with her Elise Antonia and
Will
Timpson. So the 3 of them. So she created a piece about her journey with eating disorders, which was really interesting, I think. So in her piece, Elise and Will were supposed to represent the disorders, and she was representing herself. And throughout the piece, we see how they both come and start control her and have an influence on her, and how she fights it. I think it was really well done, like not only with the dance, because they also used the lights with like some sort of color code, which like the piece starts and the two dancers are on one side of the room with like some kind of purple light on them, or she's on the other side in a more white light, and then it kind of comes together and she ends up being in the purple light. So like it kind of reference also that like her their, how do I say that, like their grip on her, if that makes sense. And yeah, I feel like it was super strong. Like they had super strong musicality, and like their style was super unique. Like each of them we could really see like their own style, which was really nice.
It's a nice contact work in that piece, actually. Those are the moments that stood out to me. Is like, it almost like surprised me. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, especially the music was edited with like like we kind of all knew the song, but then like the edits like comes in the little sounds and we don't expect it.
Didn't he? Simeon Campbell did their music, I think.
Ah, that makes sense.
But yeah, it was, I really enjoyed the music. And so throughout the piece, she tries to liberate herself from the grip of the two dancers, and at the end she manages to do it. And like there's some spoken words that resonate in the room, explaining like how she feels about her body image. And that's only later on that we understand that when she said that the piece was actually about eating disorders. So we don't actually understand like specifically eating disorders in the
Somebody
piece.
nailed that in the audience though.
Oh really?
I don't know if they sabotaged her and it was like one of her friends or something, but like they were like, oh, what do you give us? It was like, what do you think this piece is about or something? Something, eating disorder, something. It was like,
interesting.
Nail on head.
Did
like,
you get that from
no,
it? No,
I don't think you're supposed, like as in,
I mean,
if she hadn't told me, would I know that was about an eating disorder? No.
Yeah, no, like I wouldn't know if it's specifically about that, but it would have popped in my head because she talks like in the spoken words, she talks about her body, like image, and now she sees herself. So it could have been like many topics, but like that could have been one of them. Especially
sorry. I also have like I don't watch pieces trying to figure out. I'm more. I'm like, if it's more like I take a passive in terms of narrative. I take a passive. If I see a narrative, fine. Otherwise, I'm concentrating on like the dance and the other aspects, which I enjoy just as much. Like I could watch a whole piece and not have it be narrative, and it's still nice. So I'm like, if I get a narrative, cool. But I'm not like, what do I think this is about? You know?
Yeah. But also, I think her spoken words really helped because she didn't speak about her body until the very end. So it could have been literally about anything. It could be like bullying or like any other kind of topic, or some sort of discrimination or whatever. So I feel like it was cool that it was kind of open to interpretation. I also like that she mentioned that it was about eating disorders, and like I think when the moment she said it, it made it way more personal.
Yeah. I think it is good to have a little bio or a little supporting.
Yeah, definitely.
Something. I feel like I was speaking to someone else about this, but I feel like either the bio or what you'll write up about the piece that you're about to watch, especially if the audience are given the programs.
Yeah.
It's like, if you consider it like part of the piece is what people have read, then I think it's because some people are like, oh, I don't know what to write about the piece. And it's like, I went to Black, White, Grey and it's like, all they had in the program was just like a little poem. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that you necessarily explain it or whatever. It's just like, if you consider this piece of paper as part of your piece, like how you're going to prep the audience, it's like, what do you want them to know? It can be a full-on explanation. It can be just like that one. It could be statistics about eating disorders, or do you know what I mean? It's like it's just something that you want the audience to get before they like a little appetizer before the thing. Exactly. And I think you can use it in nice ways. So, but also I like the fact that we figure out after. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or maybe you don't want to give them exactly until
so you
after.
have your own interpretation, and then it's like, oh, it was actually about that, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, it's really cool. I like that. I feel like when she spoke about it afterwards during the feedback, like eating disorders obviously is super personal, and like everyone lives it in different ways. And I feel like maybe with her piece, I would have liked it to be a more personal, if that makes sense.
Like go deeper.
Yeah, because it not even go deeper, but make it more like about her and how she lived it. Like because it seemed very linear. It was like she's on her side, everything's fine, then the disorder comes and then she fights it, and then
So
that's
it's it's about the concept of disorders as opposed to your specific journey.
Exactly.
Right. Which I think is maybe in storytelling or writing or whatever is where you're going to get the strongest story from, is when it's based on something that you've, or a specific experience or
rough stuff to get close to though.
True. I mean, it's even a rough thing to choose in the first place. Regardless of.
But I think like just generally speaking about the topic of like picking a
topic.
Yeah, picking a theme for a topic. I think in one way, picking something that is really personal makes it really difficult to approach, and maybe to even, like, especially in a context like this where people are going to watch it and give feedback. And, you know, I think maybe an impulse as an artist is to like speak to something that you know, so speak about something that happened to you. But I think that sometimes that can be challenging even in the process of making, where, you know, maybe it's harder to detach and look objectively at what you're doing if it's all wrapped up in especially something like super emotional or super difficult or challenging. But also I guess it might be a good way to confront it and come to terms with it. But I just think it's a really difficult thing to not, or it can be a difficult thing to navigate. And then on the other side, I think that having like, you know, a very general like the environment or the climate crisis might be like, well, there's nothing like there's not much that's personal, and it's just like a general thing, so maybe it might lack some emotional pull. So I, not to say one is good or the other, or sometimes it's like you can pick a story or a perspective that's specific but not yours. You know, like companies that explore, you know, that like do interpretation of like old myths or stories. So I think that in picking those topics, or what you want to work on, or like grieving, for example, where it doesn't have to be about when you lost your parent, but it's about maybe like the process of grieving or something like that.
But I would say even with those bigger topics, you still need to tell a bit more of a specific, have a specific perspective or be informed by something. But I think it's just interesting to think about how people choose topics and the challenges and the positive things that come with that. But this is something I just realized I see a lot in the UEL sharings. When I go and do the third year sharings with their pieces, their topics are very vague. And I think that's often where I didn't realize. I'm going to say it now that I'm going to your ones, I think in March, whenever they are. But March. It's like, people will be like, oh, it's the topic is anxiety, and it's like,
what about anxiety?
Yeah, that's a big old and then when they struggle to approach it, it's like, because your topic is like super vague, like so that's really hard to nail down, like. And then you get this kind of, which again, it's like I see a lot in UEL, but it also happens with a lot of people, I think, starting out making work, where it's like you get this very general approach to it. It's like, for example, anxiety, we're going to start doing movements that are like really shaky and fast, and we're going to like have dancers running around in circles on set, and it's like, of course you are. It's there's anxious, it makes you think of these things, you translate into movement, done. Like it's very general approach, as opposed to we're going to tell this specific story, or like we're going to talk about this specific culture or myth, like you said, like these type of things.
But I think that, you know, and I guess like there's a skill in doing choreography and putting movement together, but I also think that there is a skill in like storytelling.
Yes. And I mean, we spoke about this on the pod before, but this is a skill that you cannot underestimate, because your whole thing is
in theater.
Like you might be a good dancer, but it's like your whole, I mean, let's say rappers might be good rappers, but they still get people to write their hooks for them in the choruses and stuff. So it's like, if you're a dancer, you might be a great dancer, but you might not be good at storytelling, and you can't just be like, oh, I'll do it. Oh no, me and Abe spoke about it with acting. It's the same with storytelling. It's like there's people that are good at that, so you have to go and research that as much as like you wouldn't sit down and be like, oh, I'm going to make my own music for this, because you're like, well, I can't make music. Well, you might not be able to tell stories either, but you have to do your research and, you know, figure that out, or draft in help. We also can't spend this long on every piece, so let's go on to the second one.
Yeah, but just to finish off
Yes.
this one, just to say, like, I think like she has great dancers and she
Yeah.
has a great concept and idea. So I hope she develops it and like makes it like just take a risk with it.
Yep.
I
Keep
think.
going.
Keep going.
Keep going. Okay, let's move on to Justin. Or
I think you pronounce it Justin
Justin.
because he's Dutch.
Dutch.
I don't know, you have more experience. Do you know this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good,
Yeah,
man.
he was amazing.
This piece was, I have to say,
Oh,
I'm sorry,
don't be sorry.
To all
Just
of
say
us.
with your chest.
one of the best pieces I've seen on that stage for a while.
Sick. Sick.
For a
Go,
while.
Justin, go.
But that's also very heavily influenced by my
Your
personal
love for
taste.
threading.
Yes.
Well, yes,
Was
but
it heavy?
not
was it big on
even.
the threading?
It was only threading.
It was on.
It was a whole piece of threading, but it wasn't only that. Like, it's definitely personal preference, but not just that. It was like, allow me to step on the beginning of your review,
for
but
it.
just because I'm very passionate about this. But so I'm really a fan of like, and anything that I've touched in the last maybe 6-7 years or so has been very like this approach of like minimalism. So what on the research I've done of that is like minimalism in terms of not like not having your clothes in the thing, but like the art movement of minimalism. You know, people that like throw away all their clothes and
Oh
they're like,
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
live.
Oh yeah, you're definitely not that at
No,
all.
I have more clothes than all right, both of you. Fuck, you know.
I wish
Like,
you wish
are
you
a
would
mess,
research it more.
No, but with the art movement minimalism, it was about like stripping back so there's a thing that came before it called expressionism, which is very big, bright colors and drawing people and all this type of stuff. Minimalism was like after that and almost a rejection of that, where it was, no, we're not going to draw a person. We're not going to draw a house. We're not going to draw this big, pretty thing. We're going to draw we're going to put a dot in the middle of the paper. We're going to draw some lines. We're going to put bricks in a pyramid in the middle of the room. And that's the art, right? And the whole point of that is that it's supposed to represent like honesty and truth and being present in the moment. It's not about, here's a picture of a person, so think about the person, don't think about the picture, right? Minimalism is like, no, this brick in the middle of the room is the art. How does it make you feel? If you're like, oh my God, I feel so calm and happy, then you're like, cool. If it's like, oh, I hate this is a piece of shit, then it's like, cool, everything's valid. Like, this is what I love about that thing, and this is why that's been a lot of my drive with the dance stuff. And I think for me, I saw a lot of that in his piece, this like minimalism approach, right? So he had like, he basically came out on stage just in his boxers. Props to him for that. Yeah, you missed out. But it was basically this idea of like threading and stuff like that. But for me, what was so enthralling, is that the right word? Or like it grasped me so well.
Yeah,
it's just because it was like, it was just about the thing that was there. It was really like a minimalism art thing for me. It was like, it's just this thing, like it's like, it almost wasn't a body anymore. Like I wasn't looking at a person. I was just looking at
Movement,
muscles and bones and things being moved around. And I really was like almost lost for a minute. Cause you know, when you hold, we were talking about this, but like when you hold a certain position or you're moving in a certain way for so long, it's like when you're writing lines at school and you forget, you're like, is this how a word is supposed to be spelt? Because you've written it so many times.
yeah.
I was looking at the stage and I'm like, is this even a person anymore? Like it was like tripping me out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it was like, it really grabbed me because I was like, this is so sick. And he just kept going and delved deep into one topic, which I love. Or not topic, but like one theme.
Yeah.
I hate when people flitter around and do too much and don't really commit to anything. He was like, I'm doing this threading thing and I'm committing to it. And he went deep into it and it wasn't repetitive. It was a 10-minute threading piece only. It was just 1, 2, da, 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 for like 10 minutes. And it did not get boring. He didn't feel like he was repeating.
Music?
I don't know much about what the music was. I can't even remember.
There was some.
There was music.
Like ambient kind
But
of.
it was like more like, I feel like it was
Soundscapey.
really
Right,
background
right.
thing.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even paying attention to the music.
And it was, he also had a like, it was so well done. I was like, oh, he is a mature theatre maker. Like I watched that and I was like, oh, okay, he's a professional. Like he's done this before. It's no accident because he's doing this thing and he really also draws you in. When you do really minimalistic, and I mean that in the actual sense, minimalistic movement, it's like people are forced to like zero in on what you're doing if they want to focus, right? Because you're not going out there and grabbing their attention. So he did this whole thing where and you're like just lost in this tiny little intricate movement. And then at the very end, he kind of like, he's got this whole theme with his hands locked like this. And then he kind of stands up and like looks at the audience and he's just kind of looking from audience member to audience member, like just like
for like a good 30 seconds.
And it was so long. And actually, I had such a little moment of like, I had a little tingle because I was like, I hope this happens, and it happened exactly like I was begging for it to happen in my head, and it happened perfectly. But basically, like he looks up like this, and it went on for so long that he's just standing there. Like no lights were fading. The music was, I don't know if the music faded or it carried on.
Yeah, it was silent.
Okay, it was this was silence, and he's just looking, and I was like, I hope please just cut to black. I hope it just drops and it just fades out, and it's exactly what happened. Like just a little bit until it was almost too long, and I was like, this might not even be the end. This might be the start of a new section, and then just all of a sudden, boom, cut to black, and I was like, oh, that was so good.
But did you realize? Because I watched the tech like a few times because I also went to the tech runs to take some pictures, and like I only realized after the third time watching it that he opened his hands in the end.
Oh, before the lights.
I wondered. That's what I thought you were going to say.
And then like I watched the last tech run and I was like, oh my God, he opens his hand. It's crazy. Yeah, that was really cool.
I love that piece.
Yeah, it was
really
interesting.
Very good.
And he's you carry on speaking, and I'm gonna look something up before I say it.
He is
to save myself for editing. Go on. Do you have any more on that?
Yeah, I wanted to say something. Oh yeah, and also it's super funny because in the feedback session after, he said that he didn't have a storyline. Like he was just playing with the threading, but he didn't have anything in mind. He just wanted to like play with it, which I feel like was super cool. And also, like he didn't have any specific lights. It was just, it started really dark and then just went brighter throughout, but there was no spotlight, nothing. Okay. It was just like just a cold, just a cold light in the room.
It was such a me piece. Like, so good.
Yeah.
So good.
But I'm really curious to see like if he actually created some kind of storyline and like build with the lights, if he had more time to like develop it.
Right.
You know,
the lights would be so sick.
Yes, lights I think would be really cool. Yeah. I love a good like use of lights design in a piece. Like I loved your Mum Edit more for that. Was it at the place with the boxes? Just really added so much to it. But I think with his because John Z had asked in the feedback, had said, do you think it needs a story, or were you okay with it not? And I wonder if that was because often John Z will do that where he'll ask a question that continues from the process. So I wonder if that was something that they had gone back and forth about, that maybe John Z was like, you might not need a story, like it's fine or whatever. I would be an advocate to say it doesn't need a story. Like you could make that into like a 30-minute piece or something without, I mean, you need narrative structure to the piece, but in terms of a like, it's about.
Yeah, I think it's like whatever it is, even if it's just a piece that's about movement, period. I think there needs to be an arc in the movement.
Well, this is where I see the difference between like structure and story. I don't know if you see that to be two different things or not.
Well, I mean,
like there's a structure to a battle round without there being a story. You're not saying, oh, I'm a guy who did this.
No, but I agree. Meaning like, I think like a story has to have a structure, but also if it's just movement, I think like, I think anyways, a piece in a theater, like it's all about maintaining the tension between the performer and the audience. So if there's no structure at some point, you know, if things go on too long, you lose the interest of 100%. The audience. And if things switch too quickly, then, you know, you also lose it because people don't know what the hell's happening. So I think whether you're doing that just purely with movement or with a clear narrative or with an abstract narrative,
I think story,
about maintaining that tension. Because
story comes with it a structure naturally, people tend to lean on story in order to get a structure.
Yeah, but
does that make sense?
This is the thing that's difficult, I think, with the like dance, for example, because it's a medium that doesn't use like language. So sometimes it can be really tricky to get a story narrative across. But
that's what I'm saying is like, I think I would always be an advocate in my own work for using more structure. And I don't like using story, right? Like in terms of like, this is a character who did this. But I think people, when they're faced with, I don't know what to do, but my piece is a mess, or this is just a bunch of movement, they lean towards, well, let's make it into a story. Because when you try and tell a story, even if you're failing at the story aspect, you're still maintaining the structure. Sense
out of it,
yeah. So you're like, oh, this is the beginning bit, this is the middle. And even we feel that, but also what we don't feel is at the end when you tell us, oh, this is the story of like whatever. And then we're like, oh, I didn't get that. But you got the structure out of it. So I think a lot of times people maybe want structure and take story instead.
Yeah, fair. Next one.
Yes, next one.
The other piece.
Okay. Moving on to Chantel.
Yes.
Presenting some work
Ah,
with,
yes.
with Shanika Wallace. I hope I say that right. I think it's Shanika. Yeah. So in this piece, Chantel said she wanted to represent herself, like her past self and her present self. So that's why there were two dancers, which were representing the same person. And throughout the piece, they were both... wait, how am I going to say that? Sorry. So the piece starts with them on the opposite side of the stage. And Chantel is way more aggressive in her movement. Sorry.
Translating.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how to say that properly without it sounding weird. Yeah, she starts off super aggressive in her movement while Shanika is only watching her. And then slowly they start to come together and we understand that they're actually the same person.
That was a whole big thing in the feedback as well, wasn't it? Like,
yeah,
whether or not we got from it that they're
That
supposed to
it
be
was
one
the same
person or not.
person,
I don't
yeah.
think I did. I don't know.
I don't think I did either, but I feel like when watching I didn't get it, but when I started writing like about it, I was like there's so many things in the piece
Like
that actually started to
signposting.
make sense. Yeah,
Right.
like the thing, there's a moment where they use some kind of spotlights to create shadows on the walls. And like on the moment I was just like, oh, that's a really cool effect. And I understand the whole like shadow thing with the present, the past, and like like the fact that Shanika was always coming like behind Chantel to like reassure her and hug her, like so there's this thing of like reassurance and like a more mature person or version of yourself, I guess. So there's like this big difference between Chantel being super aggressive the whole like the whole piece, and then Shanika being way more calm and reassuring. And then it ends up with them two in the middle of the stage, and like Chantel ends up like putting her head on Shanika's lap.
Which one is which? Which one is the now and the past and the future and the...
So Chantel is the representing the past person, and Shanika the present person. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why she's calming down the... Oh, it's like a...
Like she's traveling. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
okay.
Traveling.
I thought it was like her past calming her down now, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. Okay, yeah, what you said makes more sense.
And also the moment where they dance together, like that's the moment. I guess for me, it's like supposed to represent the moment we understand they're actually the same person.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Oh, because that makes no sense. And she had said that she did this piece before, right? I think.
I'm not sure.
I don't know where, but it's like, I think it wasn't a brand new idea.
She kept saying that when she did the piece the first time, but I don't think she explained where.
No, when. Yeah, be interesting.
So an evolution of an idea. We like it.
Yeah, we do like it.
But yeah, it was super interesting. I feel like I would like to see more difference between them, but it's hard to balance because they're supposed to be the same person. So how they could balance in the future, like showing like maybe more that there's the same person, because apparently some people didn't get it in the room, but also understand that they don't have the same mentality. Like that's gonna be a
I mean, this is what Jen was just saying about it's super hard to tell this stuff through dance. Like if this was on film, it'd be way easier.
Yeah.
You could use the same person, but it's like in a live theater dance show, you're like really. It's like you're really strapped for...
And maybe that's where the copy comes in.
The copy comes in, yep. Like the written part.
The blurb.
The blurb. Or sometimes it's like if it's supposed to be a very clear narrative or whatever, then maybe if people need that to understand...
The piece, yeah.
Then maybe it's like you need another, whether
or
it's a projection or like not necessarily spoken word, but like recorded like words or... But...
Agreed.
But well done.
Yeah, I feel like they had a lot of light cues. I feel like maybe that's obviously like it was just work in progress, and like they did the tech like the same day of the show, so it was a bit last minute, but yeah, like maybe if they really organized, because they had some great lights, I think, with like the shadow thing, like everything worked, but if they take some time to figure this
to
out,
really
that'd
like
be
work
really
with the
cool.
lights more.
Yeah, and also I feel like he was switching a little bit fast, so we didn't have time to like, we were literally like catching an idea and then it was just going away. So like maybe like take more time on one light and like develop, make it longer maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we had Brazilian guy last, right?
Yes.
Well,
I'm not sure how we say his name, so I'm so sorry, but Leonardo.
What was it? Was it? Spell it?
Leozen.
I think it was like Lausen or something. I think that's how you say it.
Yes.
Portuguese, Lausinho.
I'm gonna call him Leo.
DiCaprio.
Yes, exactly.
Lau.
Yeah, it was a very interesting piece, I think, to watch. I think on the moment, I really struggled to get the idea behind it. It was captivating though, because the dance was captivating and like the whole stage with the lights was really interesting. I like the colors with the orange and the blue was really nice. And like obviously you could see like the capoeira background dancer. Like I feel like this is super nice when it's super effortless. The movements are impressive but super effortless.
Yeah, he had some nice movement
Yeah.
phrases in there.
Yeah, and like great performance too. Like there was the switches, especially in the face and everything. So that was great.
I think that I will say though, with the concept or the idea, like he used a lot of photographs as references for the movement. And I think that's one of those things where it's like, it's not a narrative concept or not something that you can get or not get, if you know what I mean. It's like he just created movement. It sounded like he created movement just as inspired by these pictures, which he didn't show us.
Yeah.
So I think all we're left to do is to look at the movement. So it's like, it's one of those that it's like, if you don't get something from the movement, it's not necessarily a negative thing. It's just like, it was what it was there and you take what you take from it, but it wasn't supposed to be like a, something that we were
supposed to get something from it.
not something that we were supposed to understand or.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that also I was a bit disappointed in the feedback because obviously like his English wasn't like really like he couldn't speak really well. And like they didn't have a translator, so we couldn't really get the idea behind it.
That girl was translating it for a little bit, but
yeah, but honestly I struggled. Like I feel like if they knew they had someone that didn't speak English, they maybe should have like had someone to
that's true.
translate, especially if he's getting feedback and he's not understanding.
Well, I think it was sweet, but it's like he was trying his English to speak with us and the girl kind of let him, and I was like, that's really sweet, but also we want to know in full what his idea. You know what I mean? He was kind of almost giving up on what he was saying because he tried to get it like, yeah, it's kind of like that. And it's like, tell her to, that's why she's there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I feel like maybe there would be a way to implement the images like.
I would have put them on the projector.
Yeah, like a projector or something like that would be cool.
But again, it's like you can't really say because it's like maybe that was the whole thing. He didn't want them to be seen. And in which case...
it's just having a point of departure and going from there and seeing what comes out.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if he wanted that as, his point of departure and not as a aid to the audience. Like me, I would have had the thing that I'm referencing in the back, but that's kind of more...
But also, I think, like, his aim was, like, he was saying... I think that's what I got, but, like, from the images, he was trying from one image to show different perspectives of the same image. So it would have been cool to have one reference and then see all the path that went into his brain, you know? Like that would have been interesting, but
yeah. What did you think of the night overall as a whole, as your first breaking convention experience? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I think it was really cool to watch. I think I would have liked to watch more pieces, to be honest. Like 4 felt a bit short, and the feedback. Well, the fact that you have to speak in a mic, like for example, someone.
Oh, here we go.
is a bit less comfortable.
Yeah, Sophia was like, I don't want to.
No, but also I didn't want to speak because obviously I was going to write this. But yeah, I feel like maybe there should be some kind of like QR code you can, like, you know what you uni,
that would have been
there
nice.
was like a uni, there was a QR code you can scan, and then like there's a thing for each piece and you can write anything and it's anonymous, and I feel like that would be
a really good thing for them to also have that as well.
Exactly. Like they can keep it after and like really like go back to it, because I feel like only Ambush had like a like notes. She took notes, but the rest were just listening, and you can't just have everything in your head, you know. And
I think they give you a
that's true, they record. That's true.
Oh yeah, they do give you a video. True.
But also to like instinctive feedback is different than like
considered.
or like
more
the
intentional.
next day.
Definitely.
Yeah, more intentional.
Definitely.
You can be a bit more sensitive about what, I mean, you might not want to be, but it can be a bit more kind of considerate with your thoughts, I think.
Yeah, when you give it some time and you're not responding.
Yeah.
12
And
seconds.
also you're not, it's a bit performative as well, because, like, you know, there's a whole audience there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and
some
it's-
people wouldn't do well. Like it would, like, I'd like to think that if I was giving feedback, it would be the same as if it was just us two sat across a table, but not everyone would speak in the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the QR code thing is a good idea.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
that's what we had at uni for our sharings, and that was great because you don't even know who wrote anything, but it's just there. and
Anonymous
it's good to go back to
written
it.
feedback would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, main stage this year. Let's go to that because it'll be good.
Yeah.
Are the dates out?
I don't think
I
so.
think,
Or are they? Or maybe they are.
I've seen the poster.
Have you?
I think so.
Oh, maybe I'm
Lots of
talking
thoughts. I think so.
rubbish.
It'll be the first time.
Hey,
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 what's up?
what's up?
Let me
Don't see it.
think. All events.
Do we have the dates for breaking convention?
I feel like it would probably-
Yes, 28th of April to the 30th of April.
There we go.
Oh, it's only 3 days.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
like
thought
bank
it was
holiday
longer.
weekend.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nice.
gosh, I'm going to be away on the 30th.
Oh,
And I
that's
will go on the
cool.
29th.
Okay, I'll
and-
make sure I'm here. I'll probably be here because I'll have an enormous amount of assessments
Woo!
because I'm finishing. uni.
You are indeed.
Graduating.
Tels, do you want to regale us with the story of what you posted on your Instagram? Because I did not pay attention to it because I knew we were going to talk about it.
Sure. There's a couple.
Ah.
The ident and the terrible pay.
I saw something you shared from Taja.
Oh, she shared something. I sent her something that I saw, and she shared it.
Is that not what we're talking about?
No, but that's okay.
What are we talking about?
So I work as a agent and received a casting notice about an ident.
Can you explain what ident is for
So
those?
idents are like short little ads that like play before programs on TV. So if you'll remember what Letitia Simpson and Brooke did, for example, for 4Music those many moons ago in the pink petrol station, like that's an ident. Or like the blocks of whatever coming together that Channel 4 used before their programs to make the 4. That was a thing back in the day.
There's just like a little short thing before the program starts.
Yeah.
That last advert.
So precursor being they're shown loads.
That's the
They
moral
are
of the story.
shown loads. And we had a really cool brief as well. But the shoot fee was correct. But the buyout for 10 years was £700.
Right. And so just for those who don't know, who are listening, a buyout is, and correct me if I'm wrong, almost like in place of royalties. It's like
It's
for
like
them to use your face.
permission, like usage rights, basically.
So it's like, we're going to use your face for 10 years
Flat fee.
and your flat fee for that is...
700.
Well, that kind of fits into the thing you were sharing about.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's an industry standard and not wrong at all. But similarly to me thinking that music videos should be paid so much more given how much they are used and kind of like the largest part of an artist's marketing campaign. But yet you're paid like $412.50 plus holiday pay, and like that's it. But yeah, I just thought £700 for a decade for something that will just be used constantly was rubbish. And then I saw...
What is that? £70 a year? That's wild.
Yeah.
What is it per time it's shown?
Like probably
but
3p.
just for context, if you did, I
pull that back
got a different one for a Marks and Spencer's ad. Let me be correct about it.
But an ad is like...
Is that different to ident?
They are different, but they're shown just as frequently on the same. Like, I know it's not selling a product, although it kind of.
Like it's the product is like would be like a telecom company.
Yeah, I get that
It's
the
selling
mode is different, but
service.
just for context, given because of how far away we are, the usage fee for the M&S ad is 18 grand for a year.
Holy shit.
So yeah, they're different. I don't know they're that different though.
Yeah, that's a big old difference.
Yeah, I don't think they're, and you will.
That's 11,000. No, how much is it?
Yeah.
What did you say? 18 grand?
Yeah, for a year.
Oh, wow. I was thinking, I thought 1,800.
No, like that's a 18 grand difference.
Holy shit.
17.32. Where's the math? 17.2.
Yeah,
3.
that's the thing.
3.
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
So that's the thing. And then I saw a reel from one of the singers from The Lion King.
Simba.
Oh, is he Simba?
Well, I don't know because he said he was singing "I Just Can't Wait to Be King."
But I'm not sure the voice actor also sang the songs.
Yeah, but because he was a singer, wasn't he?
Yeah,
So he must have been the singer for Simba.
for him. Right, got it.
But is there more people in that song? Because doesn't he sing it with
Well, he
he
wasn't
sing it
Nala.
with the little, doesn't he sing it with the little
toucan.
bird?
The toucan.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
And he is speaking on his mum turning down $2 million for that job for him, and instead putting a royalty in place. And however many years down the line, he is still being paid for his work on that.
More like, sorry, I'm assuming it tallies up to more than 2 million.
That's what his point is from his mum's perspective is, well, if you're offering me 2 million,
Flat fee.
there's clearly more to be had. Like if that's your initial offer, then no, we want more. And I just think that royalties aren't considered as enough as the way forward for us as freelancers in certain contexts, not all. And I was careful to say when I shared it, like I am talking more about industry than community when I speak about negotiate. Well, I was talking about negotiating in general.
Yeah.
And if like I judged a battle like this, young people's battle at the weekend, and their fee, they came in with their fee, and that wasn't necessarily the place to be like, I take that and I raise you 200.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I know that
It's
this
a community
is
thing,
it's, you know, a funded thing, but if I'm talking to like Marks and Spencer's, then I won't ever be accepting what you offer me initially. I'll always shoot for more. And that was my point really. But I do think royalties have a place in the music, in like where we cross into the music industry. I would love that to be a thing that happens for us. And I don't think it's something I could just demand out of the blue and expect to be taken seriously. But I just think the amount of money that you earn for a project being linked to its success as a result of your involvement is fair.
So if you like, for example, the video we were looking at the other week, where it's like the dancers make that video, like the dancers and the direction, but obviously like there's no artist in the video. So in something like that, it would be like
when Paris Goebel did all those Justin visuals.
Yes, and it was
them. Just dancers.
So then
in
it's
the
like
videos.
I'm getting royalties as opposed to a buyout because I want to get paid every time this plays.
Yeah.
And then is there, I don't know on an industry level, but is that at any point somewhat of a gamble? Because like I said, if they're giving you 2 million, right? And then do you also have to do enough of your, let's say they're giving you 2 million for the song for like, maybe that's a bad example because you can tell that's going to do well. But if you were Paris Goebel and you were like, all right, Justin Bieber, I'm going to get royalties instead of a buyout. You take royalties, Justin Bieber drives drunk and kills someone, his album tanks,
but
and
you
you're
could
screwed.
give me right. You could give each dancer 0.001%
Right.
on a certain campaign.
That's a lot.
That is still a wild amount.
Which is why they can afford these 18 grand buyouts for whatever.
I'm looking for Yummy, and that's not what I meant to look for. I meant to look for Sorry.
But Yummy was also one, wasn't it?
But 3.6 billion views. Like, you could give 0.001% to the dancers to split. And that is still a wild.
And that's only on YouTube. That's not counting any time that's been played on TV or Super Bowl or any of those type of big things.
But I think it's not even with music videos, buyout or royalties, because we don't get either. You just get like
a flat fee for the shooting day.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't get a buyout for music videos? Now that makes more sense. So why is it the difference that you get a buyout for adverts but not for music videos? What's the logic for them?
It's a TV thing.
Oh, because music videos are going to be less on TV.
Yeah. Like, because buyouts are way less for ads that are on social media. Like, way less.
That's interesting, because it's crazy how
the viewership might be more
because like I was watching a lot of Mr. Beast. Have you heard of him? He's basically the biggest YouTuber.
Interesting.
On the planet.
Never heard of
I know,
that
it's
person.
crazy. Like, it's crazy that he has, like, if I look at like his last videos, right, just as a tiny segue into social media being
interesting,
huge, this guy is insane.
I thought I was aware of the big people, even if I don't follow them or watch their stuff.
131 million subscribers. His how
many does like a KSI have for like, comparison?
KSI, let's see, has that's it. Is that his music? He has 24 million.
Oh,
so Mr. Beast, one of his famous things that he did was, like, he has a lot of money obviously from his companies. He has his own burger restaurant and all these type of things.
Right.
So he takes his money and like gives loads away in videos. So he did, this is the last one, 1,000 blind people. He cured 1,000 blind people's sight. He just paid for it. And that's the video. 60, the last, like, let's say 63 million, 88 million, 104 million, 106 million, 88 million. Each of these videos, which are like a month apart, let's say, have more viewership than Super Bowl adverts. So when people are like paying huge money for Super Bowl adverts, YouTube is generating that for these type of creators, like all the time. So it's like, and obviously that's top, like he's literally number one in YouTube at the moment, but it's like, oh, so he, just as a context, he did, he paid and basically got this set and recreated Squid Game. So he got these people and did like a fun thing of like, you fall and you land in the soft shit, but you still do the stuff. The viewership was bigger than the actual Squid Game. Like more people watch that than the real Squid Game.
Did you post about that?
Potentially, yeah.
I think
he's insane. But anyway, all that to say is like, look at the potential of YouTube. As you said, how many billion views for that?
Yeah. I think also probably like, forever adjusting my mic.
Yeah.
I think like adverts compared to music videos, even if in our heads we like the kind of videos serve as an advertising purpose, it's like with an advert, it's clear that it's a company trying to sell a product and they're using you for that. Whereas the artist, I feel like even if it's promotion for the album or whatnot, it's kind of seen as like that's the final product. Like the video
but which they're
is
still getting you to go and stream.
Yeah,
or whatever
but like the video is the product. Like there's not necessarily.
I see what you mean.
Like there's not like, there is like, okay, you buying merch and buying into the artist more, but the artist is that kind of
product.
Yeah, so I think
I kind of know what you mean.
That's where the distinction might be in the reasoning, but I don't think it's necessarily fair in who's benefiting from that, whether it's like the label or the production company or who owns the right. Because this is the thing I think of, like, okay, there's a music video and it's like, who owns the right to the music that's being written and to the image and to the choreography. And there's that LA choreographer, like Jaquel Knight, that like was the first to copyright his choreography for, was it Beyonce, the Single Ladies?
Yeah.
But that's a whole tribute to Bob Fosse anyway.
Yeah,
so.
but just meaning of like, right, but I think that in that way, and even I think that relates to like TikTok and like content creators creating something that goes viral and then other people making money off of it. So I think that there is starting to be that, but I think like the world and the technology has changed faster than the like
any structures or systems.
Yeah, like the like the industry hasn't really had the time or to react in terms of like what it means legally, what it means
they're probably figuring it
financially.
out now, like as we talk.
So I think we're like a bit behind in, you know, if you think of like where YouTube was even like 5 or 10 years ago, and the viewership and the monetization and the copyright and like, you know, kind of maybe eliminating or not eliminating but reducing the importance of like a label or a production company, where normally everything would go through them, and now it's more direct, like consumer to a business to consumer. So yeah, I mean, so I feel like when I see stuff like that there are some people taking the steps slowly who have the power, you know, and the weight to demand these things.
Yes, I think it's just more stuff like that where people will start to ask for the royalties instead of the thing, or copyright.
Yeah, and also like just like in theatre, royalties are a thing.
Oh yeah,
like for every month that Lion, Witch and Wardrobe was open, I made money.
Right.
So it is it's in the entertainment, and it is in
there is
the
other
arts.
Examples they can draw from.
Yeah, so it is possible,
but it won't happen until people start pushing for it.
Yeah. But I think maybe it's like in the digital space that it's still fuzzy, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to conflate buyouts and royalties, because obviously they're not the same thing, but I do think as long as a thing lives on the internet and makes someone money,
you should get a cut.
The featured artists should be should have a slice of that.
But then I guess it's like
would be nice.
But I think it's like, I mean, it's just interesting. I'm just thinking out loud here, but it's like, even if you think of a flat fee versus like not versus royalty, but for something like an advert that, you know, it like an advert has a shelf life, meaning like, okay, well, this is this campaign. And then once that product fades out, then that product is going to fade out, and so is the advertisement. So there's always an expiry date. Whereas when you're looking at stuff like movies and music videos that have like, you know, people still watch like Michael Jackson videos or Janet Jackson
or even
videos,
older stuff from Frank Sinatra or whatever.
People in movies get royalties.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, so that's why I'm saying, oh well, now that we talk about it, it does make sense that these things should have royalties and not even a buyout, really, because
it makes more sense for an advert to have a buyout and a music video to have
a
royalties.
royalty.
Yes, because the shelf life is
which is what happens with when you sample someone, or like you if you sample someone in a song. Even you know, it's a hilarious story which I love is that, you know, Cisco's song. Do you know this story?
No.
You know the bit where he goes, "Living the vida loca."
Did he have to pay Ricky Martin?
Not only that, he didn't pay Ricky Martin, released it, and now basically he makes next to nothing. Cisco makes next to nothing from the song because because he got sued and he lost. And it all goes to Ricky Martin. No, not Ricky Martin, but whoever wrote that song for Ricky Martin.
Interesting.
Gets like between that and then I think the royalties for the people who like played the instruments and shit like that. Basically, Cisco himself makes next to nothing.
Yeah, because the is a sample.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So I think he might have paid that shit, but he chanced the "Living the Vida Loca" thing. Like,
that's
apparently, I watched
business.
Yeah, there's a documentary online about it, and
oh, is it the story of?
I think so.
Right.
Yeah, and someone warned him about it. Apparently, whether they actually did, but apparently they said you should, and he was like, "Yeah, he'll be fine." And now he like his biggest hit.
Was
that's
it
fine.
Nothing.
See you in the Big Brother house.
Yeah. Truth. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's a thing.
That's the long and short.
But I mean, in music, anyways, I think it was in business school that they were like, the artist, like if you sing the song, you're not the person who makes the most money off of the track. The person who wrote it, and the person who composed it, like the publishers.
That's why Ed Sheeran is wrote for like Beyonce. All this, like he's like raking it in from just songwriting. A lot of them. Rihanna wrote a few songs for other people, and
Bruno Mars
writes a lot.
Yeah.
He wrote for loads, and you know, it's the touring and stuff now, isn't it?
I mean,
it's
also similar to like dance in a way. It's like the choreographer makes more than the dancer who's on stage performing the choreo.
Well, that's interesting with the commercial realm, like for film. Like if you've got a prominent role and you've got a royalty, you'll make more than the choreographer
interesting
for sure.
Fair.
Yeah, it's just like the lump sum game, I guess. But yeah,
because I'm like, I wonder, probably some people that act in movies, like if it's a big star, they might even make more money than the director.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like, because some of them, like Liam Neeson in Taken, it's like he got like 80% of, or some huge number. No, it might be 50%. 50% of Taken 2's total budget was to pay Liam Neeson.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Get it,
Well,
Liam.
yeah, you don't make it without him, do you?
He
really?
is, after first Taken blew up, it's like he is Taken. So it's like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? You gonna fucking hire someone else?
I think that's a cool thing with negotiating in general. Is like, if you know that project doesn't go ahead without your involvement,
Yeah.
You can just ask for anything.
negotiate the crap out of it.
It's like basketball players or football. It's like Ronaldo or something. It's like he, he went to Saudi to play, and it's like, it's not a like, oh, you can help benefit the team. It's like, I'm gonna make your entire league. Like, if I come here, your entire league is gonna see a pay rise and stuff. So you're giving me whatever I want. Like, anytime you have that much pulling power, it's like.
But this is even with the thing you posted about the singer. I don't know if he was Simba actually, but the singer of the Lion King or whatever, where they've recorded it, the move, or they're recording it. He has the role. They want him to do it. It's like, now you're in a position where you can make them like do stuff or,
Make them do stuff. Do a spin. Do a backflip.
But yeah, I think so. I guess it all depends. But to get back to this stuff you were saying about the ident, I guess this is really difficult where, like, even if you want to argue about it, someone's going to take it.
Yes. And I do appreciate, like, they don't have the budget that a Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about it being thousands of pounds, but like £700 for a decade is a joke.
True that.
It's like such a random number as well. Like, why is it not 1K?
What have you based
Like, why is
that on?
700?
It's not even like electricity for a year in a house.
It's nothing for a year at this point.
It's nothing for a year. It's not even your cotton buds for your ears. For a year.
Yeah. It's not even public transport.
Yeah, well, I mean,
No.
that's not even public transport for a week in London. Yeah.
So yeah, that's that on that.
Yeah,
really.
negotiating is a big topic anyway. Do we want to do these audience topics?
Oh.
So we're going to do a quick fire,
Quick fire.
and we're going to just basically we ask for topics from people online. On
I like it.
Insta. We've got some topics.
I'm excited.
We're going to try not to spend 15-20 minutes on each topic.
So keep you under
We've been
control.
rambling on today.
No, I just know some of these topics I could spend. So this is more of a get
Okay.
our initial feelings out
Okay.
and then move on.
Okay. I'll keep you in check because you
So
can talk.
Jen, you can. There's like Sophia's going to say one.
Yeah.
You say your immediate first thought that comes to your mind.
Yeah.
And then me and Sally will carry on
Okay.
after that.
Okay.
Okay. Just saying, I'm just gonna read them. So
Basically, what Sophia's reading is what people have written. So it's not.
Prompts.
Some of them aren't
Prompts.
phrased. Yeah, prompts. They're not phrased as a question. They're
Yeah.
just what people have responded
some
to the
are.
question.
The
Okay.
first one is okay. First one. Why are events always announced last minute?
Probably because people are doing a million different things at the same time and they don't really think of a marketing strategy. They just release the information.
That was very accurate. I think we're almost done on that. But yes,
Next.
because event organizers in the battle scene, especially, which is what I think they were referring to, but also in the dance scene, are not event organizers. They're just people who are putting on events.
What's last minute?
Like, I'm gonna say like 3 weeks in advance is too late, or
Yeah.
3 weeks in advance. I think what the people that I was speaking to online that agreed with this, and also the people that wrote it and stuff, it's about like if you're trying to get together a dance school to bring to, and if we're talking about bringing money and more people into the battle scene especially, it's like if we're trying to fill out these events, it's like the more people can book in advance, if you have to get babysitters, if you have to inform parents, if you have to send letters home, if you have to even as a grown adult, it's like I've got work, man, and it's like I've got if there's some events that I will turn down work to be at, but I need to know that they're happening to do that, because once I've accepted work, I can't then say now I'm not coming. You have to get me before the work. So I think you do need a marketing strategy, and you do need to implement it from a certain amount of time. Like I personally would start your marketing, well, put it this way, like when we did events at uni, you have this, like it's relatively simple for anyone that's done it, but I've shown it to a few people that they were like, oh, that's cool. But it's like, you think of it as like Lego blocks, right? And it's like, this is the date of your event happening, and you go weeks, this is 0, right? Then you go week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, all the way out to, let's say, to week 12 or whatever it is. And this can be for every part of your event, but just for marketing, right? So you say 12 weeks or whatever, and then you say, this is what's going to happen in each week, and you put a little block in, right? So it's like from week 12 you need to, like, let's say, get flyers printed or whatever. So then in week 13 you need to have designed the flyers, week 12 you need to print them, week 11 they start going out, and then the block continues from week 11 all the way to week 0. So you're giving out flyers there. Or when does the social media market, and when do these, so you have a whole strategy building up from when you need it to come out. And I think what a lot of people do is just get it out as and when they can. And a lot of times it is because they're waiting for answers from a venue or waiting for answers for this. But it's like, this is kind of what makes events hard. Is like, even if you can pull an event together last minute, what then suffers is if and it's a big if the quality of your event doesn't suffer from being last minute, the marketing does. And then it's like, either
it affects your audience.
It affects your audience, and it also affects our experience, because we're already pissed walking into the event because we've had to cancel things. We're showing up late because we had other work. And it's like, if I had known this was happening 3 months in advance, I would have booked time off. I would have done this. You know what I mean? And then there's people that miss out on stuff. And it's like, and then if you miss out on it, you're not inclined to come back the next time. It's like, you know what I mean? Because it affects a lot of different stuff. For me, I'm really into like marketing and branding and stuff. So I think it's a really big, important thing. And it was a whole thing in uni when we did I did events management degree, and it's like, it was a whole module, is like the marketing and strategies and all that. So yeah, I think it's a big part of it that people are missing out on, and that's my thoughts.
And also, it's like, in order to have marketing, it means you need to have the answers to all the questions, like who's your DJ, who's your judge, who's what the event runs from, like what is the sign up time, what time do people have to be there. And I think sometimes it's like, like all those things need to be figured out way in advance. And I think sometimes people leave some of these elements for last minute, and so it means you can't really release all the information. So,
and just a quick tip for people, tell me if you guys disagree. A lot of people, if you're going for funding somehow with your event, people wait to get the answer for the funding, then they contact and book their DJ. Sometimes the funding comes in last minute or whatever. I would advise, book your staff and get them to pencil in the thing based on the assumption that you're going to get funding. Then notify your staff if it is or isn't happening.
Yeah.
So reverse it. So say, I would like you, Sophia, to come and film my event on the 3rd of April.
Subject to funding.
Yeah, it will be a £300 fee or whatever. Can you pencil it in for me? I will let you know by January if it's happening in April. Funding answer comes in, I didn't get it, sorry, we're gonna have to release your pencil or whatever it is, or yes, it's definitely confirmed. That's better than it getting to January, you've got an event in April, and now you start looking for a DJ, or a videographer in your case. I would do it that way around.
Yeah, or I would even argue, be like, I'd like to make an event next year. Let me apply for funding now.
A year, do everything early, not the funding comes in 3 weeks before the event. That'll be all right.
Yeah, because that puts you in a shit situation if you don't get it. But
it does take, as someone who considers themselves to be quite organized, however organized you might think you are, you have to just be so many more steps ahead than you think. And especially if you don't have a team. And it's not even staff, but just people, where you're having round table, talks about this stuff. I can see it's how things are not missed, but how it gets to be as last minute as it does sometimes. I see how it happens.
Yeah, even with Pax, when she was here, we had this joke, she was with me when we were producing the show, and we said everything is 10x. like nothing is just as straightforward as like doing the thing. The majority of the things are going to take like 10 more steps than what you anticipated to get there.
Hire a DJ is like,
like it's not just like calling the person, and then like there's just always things that are going to happen that are going to make the task like 10 times more complicated than you initially thought it was going to be. And when you're doing something like planning an event, you're dealing with so many different like stakeholders or players. You know, it's like the venue, your staff, your DJ, your volunteers, the people signing up, if there's another event, So it's like juggling all those things make it that like you have a lot of 10Xs that you're going to have to deal with.
That's a good piece of advice.
So it was funny when I was like struggling with this project, and we would just look at each other and be like, that's a 10X. This is a 10X.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Let's go. Next topic. Hit it. And you do your reaction.
Tips for marketing. Oh my God.
What?
Sorry. I'm going to rewind.
Yeah.
Tips for marketing yourself as a dancer on social media.
Oh, I'm the worst person to ask for this.
That is true.
Yeah.
Same. You're the best, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
immediate reaction. Immediate reaction.
Play the game. That's my immediate reaction. Play the game. Stop being too proud to do what you need to do.
Oh wow.
Depending on what your desired outcome is.
Well, that's why I say to do what you need to do. Like I wouldn't, if what you need to do is go viral on social media, play the game. If what you need to do is sell tickets to an event, play the game. If you need to start getting hired as something, play the game. It's like
figure out the game and play.
It's not the game of social media, although that is
look around and find out.
Yeah, that is a game, but it's like,
And I swear now.
I know people that will be like, I really want to, be a professional dancer. No, well,
back in the day.
Maybe.
Not anymore.
It's like, I really want to be a professional dancer, but like, it's like, well then upload like a video every week of you dancing so that people can say, well, no, I don't like this. It's like, well then,
That was me.
It's like social media is like a
game.
It's a game, but it can also just be like a billboard. Like I know people, I'm making a living off my art, and almost only marketing I do is social media. So are you, and the only thing you do is social media, and you don't really play the social media game, but I would say you play the game in the sense of you show people what you want them to see, right? It's like if you've got a class coming up, you might reshare like Orion's belt. You might be like, this, and then you tag people who are in the room, and then you write a little something from your heart, which is what your audience connects to. It's like people that like your from the heart thing. So if you say, reteaching Orion's bell, this was such a special moment, I'm so happy that blah blah blah, excited to be sharing it. It's like, I know you mean that, but it was a conscious decision for you to share what you feel, and that's for me is playing the game. It's like you are you're speaking to your audience, and I think you're very good at it, and that's why you also don't feel an urge to like go viral or do any of the fucking trends and stuff, because you're like, I know who my audience are and I'll get them in the room if I need them there. But it's not you don't just wake up one morning, walk to the studio, and they're just there. It's like you do things to get them in the room,
Yeah. But I will say, for those that might be like similarly inclined with that, is word of mouth does still matter. And like if you talk to the people that do resonate with you, they will that will have a ripple effect. So I think finding like your language, like literally and otherwise, just like what works for you and gets a reception for you, like instead of shape shifting and constantly like trying like code shifting different ways to talk to people, it's like find out the way that you do communicate there, and like when it works, like it will ripple out in real life, and not just
people will translate it. So it's like your way of speaking and being might speak to me, but let's say it doesn't to Jen, and Jen doesn't know you. If I want Jen to join your workshop, I will translate it for you. I'll be like, this is what Tally's thing is all about. Like in like when we got like when we came to your workshop, and Lee, Jen, no, you hadn't been before. It was just me that had been the first time.
When I came with Monster and Pax.
Yeah, but it's like Monster, Pax, and Lee. But it's like I was speaking to them, to poppers, being like, here's what you'll get from this thing. But you wouldn't have spoke to them in the same way. But it's people do that.
But I think to get back to the question, it's like, I think an important thing is to like establish what your goal is, because it's like to promote yourself with social media. It's like, Tally, for example, is promoting herself, but she's promoting her class, like, or I. So it's like funneling the audience to that. So I think, if it's just for you to have visibility, then it's like played that game of like just putting yourself out there, or if it's to redirect your audience to go somewhere, or like to an event, or
it's you have to have a strategy. Like whatever that strategy is, you have to have a strategy. And if you don't have a goal, the strategy is nothing. I know people that are like being like, oh, go and like and share this post, and I want this post to get to 300 likes, and it's like,
why?
then what?
For what? Like, and it's also, they don't work in dance. They're not freelancers. They're not. It's like you have a day job. So what? Me as your audience, I'm unclear what you want 300 likes for. Like 300 likes, and I'll drop my next video, and I'm like, don't
take
drop
time.
it or don't drop it. Like it's up to you. Like
Couldn't care less.
So I think it's like you have to have a goal and have a strategy and have a reason why you're posting what you're posting. And it's like, for me, it's kind of like a billboard, like on the side of the highway or something, like back in the day. It's like, what do you want people to see? And it's like, if you know, especially if you're someone like me that does different things, and it's like, right, if I'm only ever posting me dancing on my Instagram, people are going to stop hiring me as a videographer. If I only post video, people are going to hire me as a photographer. So my job is to vary what I'm posting, even if sometimes those likes, like some of the things that I've got them, and this is so important, some of the things that I've got the most paid for or hired for got the least likes on my Instagram, because it's two different games. If I was playing the go viral game, I would care that a picture I put up with like some squiggly lines on it got 30 likes, right? But that picture got me 4 jobs doing graphic design that I don't even fucking do, but they just wanted lines on their poster for a tour. So I'm like, I got paid for that off something that got me 30 likes. But if I conflate those and I go, oh, I only got 30 likes, let me take that down, the person that saw that and goes, oh, I like that design, can you do that for my theatre company, wouldn't have contacted me. Or a certain type of edit, or a lot of the stuff that I do just playing around and throw up and doesn't get many likes, people will then contact me and hire me for. And that's the stuff you don't see, but that's the stuff that's paying my rent. So it's like, what's your goal? My goal is to work as an artist and pay my rent off these things, not to go viral on social media. If it was, I'd play a very different game. And yes, I want my videos to have reach, but only because the more people that see them, the more chance there is of me getting hired to do those things, which therefore puts a limit on the reach that I care about. I only care about people within my community, in positions of power, with money, kind of seeing my stuff, and I want to get it out to them. Do I care about like 5,000 people in India clicking like on my thing and going, oh, you're so beautiful? No, not really. I don't give a shit. Like, because those numbers don't really do anything for me. You know, it's like, okay, this post got, like, me and Fee did a collab
that
thing.
went a bit mad, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It got like, I don't know, 30,000 views on the reels and loads of like, and it's like, did I get shit out of that? No, literally nothing. But then there's other posts, like I said, literally 30 likes and I get like reoccurring jobs from it. So it's, you have to know what your thing is, and then you can judge whether it's working or not. Because if you're getting 30 likes a post, but you're getting paid off every time you post a new idea, someone's hiring you, it's working. Like, chill, it's fine. And as if you're, you know, going viral or whatever the thing is that you want to do, if you're going viral every post or whatever, then fine. But
or you can be like me and just post a lot of memes.
yeah, I'm sure your engagement is tanking.
Smashing it right now.
Yeah, I'm on point. Next question.
Go, hit it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hit it.
Loyalty to cruise.
Loyalty to your cruise.
Loyalty to cruise. Do you have any?
I mean-
I was not loyal.
Oh,
you were bouncing
I was a
around,
floater.
bouncing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't the only one at that time. I think there would. I realized, like, I started when I was 15, I think. And even then was just aware that I wasn't going to get everything that I wanted out of one place. And because there wasn't a class culture the way that there is now, really.
Yeah.
You had Huskies and you had Pineapple, and if you were a street dancer, you weren't going to Pineapple.
Yeah.
Really. So you were joining crews to get your training, and I just floated around, and I'd lost opportunities, or like I couldn't do certain shows if you weren't just with one crew and all that jazz. But my priority was like, I want to be in the spaces and like learning the experience. And I speak to people about it now that are floaters in their crews and companies, and I get the spirit of, you know, riding hard, but I think it's really easy to lose a sense of perspective on what is being lost potentially as a result. And that's not even just about opportunity, but like a sense of identity for yourself. Like, and that might not be important to everyone. It might just be about community and like representing a certain space and place and person. But I just, in my opinion, there are more cons than pros to being exclusive to one crew. If we're talking dance company and you're on a yearly salary and stuff, then different. But like crew.
But I think also it's like, okay, are you loyal to your crew, but also it's like, is your crew loyal to you? And by that I mean like loyalty has different definitions for different people, but for me it's like loyalty is about having somebody's back, and it's like if you need to go do something or learn with other people and whatnot, like I feel like a crew that is, the way I see it, is kind of like a family or like a unit of people that have each other's back. Then it wouldn't be like, oh no, if you go dance with these people, if you go take that class, or if you go train there, then you can't be with, like, for me there's something a bit weird about that. Like then by the same token, it's like, all right, would you go train with somebody who like punched your friend in the face, like punch your best friend in the face and be all buddies with them? Like I think that
There's
kind
two
of goes
sides.
beyond like the dance level and more into a human thing. But I feel like there's different perceptions also of the word of what a crew is.
I think in the battle scene, I think it's slightly different because the culture of crews is different. It was originally supposed to be about like a family and like a really close-knit a bunch of people, regardless of like whether you dance together or not. It's like still your people. And I think there's also an element of the competition. So it's like if you go and dance with that crew and me, it's like if we're entering a battle, it's like whoever you join has more of a chance of winning. So it's like I think there is something to do with that, but it's like I think, and also I guess like there's like a lot rides on your originality and stuff. So if we're training together and I'm exchanging ideas with you and then you go and use that for them, I don't know, there's something that I think for me in terms of like crews in general is like if you care about someone, you want them to fly. So if you're in any way like holding back people just because they signed up to be in your crew at one point, it's like that's going to make me leave your crew immediately. It's like, bye. All right, if you don't want me to go and train or do this or try that, but just I'm out then completely.
Like what's the definition of loyalty? Like you can't do anything with anybody else, or it's just like a group of people that share a set of values and that train together and do things together. And then from there, I would say, be loyal to those people. But whether that's a crew or your family or your friends.
It's a communication thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, just fucking communicate.
Because like you say, that means different things to different
and they
people.
Might one
and
person,
like, you're disloyal. And it's like, oh no, but I'm here like every week. And like, I wear our like stuff
T-shirt,
everywhere. And it's like, but I don't know what.
But you think about that other crew.
It's like,
but you look at them
shared
different.
their posts. Like I know we need to move on to another thing, but I was in a crew that wanted everyone in it to share whatever they made, like put the crew like logo at the beginning of all of their,
even if it wasn't
things.
within that cruise.
No,
bye.
So you see,
That's
this is like,
thought.
are they loyal?
Anything you post has to have the capsule on it. Any videos
has to have a
even if I'm not there and it's nothing to do with me.
like in return for what?
Put me on salary and I'll
Maybe.
and I'll do it.
Next question.
Next question. Battle seeding.
Okay, battle seeding.
Bye.
Someone
See you later.
super quickly, because this was a very vague question, because it wasn't a question, it just wrote the words battle seeding. For those that don't know what battle seeding is, when you pass prelims, you have a bunch of people that all qualified to be in the top 16 out of however many dancers entered. What sometimes happens is that they will organize so it then becomes a knockout thing, right? So you got different people versus different people, and then they work their way up. So I can't articulate my fingers well enough to show you. But what people will do is they will seed the battle. So that means they will put different people, depending on their level, they will put them in different places. So let's say you take the 2 strongest. You don't know about this?
No.
Okay.
So it's like, let's say you have the top 8. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was in the middle of it.
Do it.
So let's say you have the top 8 now. So if you have the 2 strongest people, you put them on the outside of the bracket. So that they are nowhere, because if they're here, they're going to battle each other in the second round. So you want them to be the furthest away. Okay. Then you take the next 2 strongest people and put them in the other battle. So it's like 1, 2 strongest, second 2 strongest. Then you take third strongest and then the 4th strongest. And then you put them like that. So then it should be fairly weighted. And what you should have in most top 8s, if you're seeding, is everyone should be in the top 8, top 16s, top 8 and bottom 8. So every first battle should be a top 8 versus a bottom 8. So you were in the best 8 that qualified and you were in the worst 8 that qualified. So you all qualified, but you put it like that. Now, the potential bad things is that this is, let's say some people will do it by just how well they know the dancers or like who they think is good and bad. That's not good. It should be objective, which I believe you should do it based on the prelim scores. So when judges do prelims, they write down a score of 1 to 10, sometimes like 3.5, 4.2 or whatever the fuck, right? And that's how you mark based on how they performed in their prelims. I think seeding is good and it makes the most entertaining battle, but you should do it based off people's prelims. So those 2 strongest should be the 2 highest marks in the prelim, not who you think are the best dancers. And then you should do it based on that. So it's literally just, if I battle someone super hard in the first round, it's like, and I've had this before, but it's like, oh yeah, I did a whack prelim. Like I scraped through, but I'm going against someone hard. So I'm lucky to even get through, kind of thing. So it shouldn't be unfair if you do it based on the prelim. If you do it based on your own personal opinions, then you can actually start to sway a battle and swing it in you're like, oh, that's a guy that I really like, so I'm going to give him the easiest battle first. You know what I mean? And having an easy route to the finals is really a thing. So it's like, I've won battles or I've got to the finals and it's like, I've had a really fucking easy route because the other side was like the first 2 battles were super the best people, then the next battle. And this is the negative side of not seeding, is like if you take someone like, it's like this final where it's like fucking Brooke versus me in the finals, and it's like, how the fuck did Luke get to the finals? And it's like, oh yeah, because he battled like one of the Teletubbies in the first round, and then, you know what I mean, and it's just like some guy that was asleep and then he got Brooke in the finals. Meanwhile, Brooke is like fighting the Terminator in the first round, you know, it's like Godzilla in the second round. So then it's like, it doesn't make sense because now Brooke has had to go through the hardest first battles I've walked through.
Yeah, but the outcome is the same.
Because it's not about that. The outcome is the same that Brooke wins, but the outcome is not the same in the sense of
engineering
what we get
moments
to watch. Yeah, you want the most entertaining thing. Engineering moments is a strong contender for a title of the episode. But yeah, so I think it's in an entertainment way it works, and in a fairness way, because it's like if Brooke's first battle is against Hoan, and then his last battle is against me, it's like I might beat him only because he's used up all of his good shit. He's tired, especially when you look at B-boys. It's like if you're throwing your best shit, your hardest rounds in the first round, and then by the time he gets to the finals, you've got nothing left. And this guy from this side is walked through. That means he's got all his shit. He's super fresh. He's going to smoke you when it's a bit of an unfair thing.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just in terms of like the hype of the event. Yeah. Like if the best moment happens right at the beginning, and then from there it kind of goes down in terms of energy and level, it's kind of like anticlimactic where you want like the hype to build, and like as the event goes, it gets better and better and better. So it's like you see the strongest people like go at each other. Yeah. So I think that in that way, #engineering moments. Next question.
Yeah, I think every battle should be seeded.
Cypher prelim etiquette.
Ooh!
I feel like we've had
this conversation.
So
I'm gonna keep it quick. No, there's one thing Cypher prelims, I fucking hate them and they stress me out, and people lose their shit and
don't know
literally
how to behave.
As a callback, act like they were born in a barn.
Were you born in a barn?
You were born in a barn. You raised in a barn. But yeah, so here's the thing. Cypher prelims are a fucking mess, and every time they're done, they're a mess, and it's an hour. It's like
I don't know if I've ever seen one. I must have, right?
You might not have
did
seen
I
one because
leave?
you've walked out of the room when they
Yeah,
started, because
maybe.
you've just gone, no.
What is this?
But like, it's the same as what we said about
Nonsense.
contact improv in an audition. Literally the same energy. It's like you want to do this cypher thing where the whole thing is about exchange and building and taking turns. But you're telling me the longer I stay in the middle, the more chance I have of getting through.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's
not a thing.
It doesn't make sense unless you have someone that organizes it and corrals it, which is where, as usual, I blame the event organizers, because it's like they just go, oh yeah, Cypher Prelim starts now for an hour, I'm gonna go get coffee, see you later. Meanwhile, there's like 4 people in the Cypher at any one time. Everyone's just doing this crap where they kind of dance at each other, but neither of them are doing their best moves. They're just doing some weird shit. And then no one really feels good. The judge can't really pick fairly. It's just a mess. So what you really should do is, first of all, you need to set a size, because those Cypher prelims go whoop, super quick, which happens in normal Cyphers, so I could maybe let that go. But if the point is for the judge to choose fairly, sort it out, like make a line where they can't cross or something. And then I think you don't have to necessarily do time limits, but you've got to either encourage an atmosphere where people are moving in and out, or just straight up kick people out when they've been in too long. Or if 2 people jump in, this is what I hate. 2 people jump in literally at the same time, which again happens in most ciphers. Sometimes now and then you'll have a bit of like a back and forth and people will dance together. Lovely, cool. But what doesn't work is now when the next time 4 people jump in and they all stay in the cipher, and then they all start dancing, but they're not dancing with each other anymore. They're just dancing all in the space. Now this is not a cipher, we're just in a nightclub. Like we're all just dancing in our own space. So cool, fuck it, I'm not going to watch anymore. I'm just going to start doing around here. Like what's the point of this? I would allow 2 people to exchange and go back and forth and fine. I don't think it's the best way to show yourself to get through for the judges, but okay, fine, we let that happen organically. Any more than 2 people jump in at once, stop. You get out. And something that does happen in a cipher, if you're ciphering with normal people, is that 2 people will jump in, there'll be a little exchange and people will go back and forth. Like let's say me and you and Sophia, we jump in and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to stay in, and maybe it's confrontational, or maybe we're dancing together. Eventually one of us should stop and let the other one carry on. So it's like, oh, a little moment. All right, you know what, go do your thing. Or screw you, and then you go, oh, all right, cool, and then I do my round. But eventually someone should get out. But cypher prelims, people just fucking stay in the whole time. So there is etiquette in terms of, I think there's etiquette in terms of cypher prelims. I don't think it's on the dancers, because everyone just loses their shit and does whatever they feel at the moment. I've walked out of a couple of cypher prelims halfway through. Yeah, I've been like, I fucked the battle.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
gonna go.
Oh, you have to?
Yeah.
It's horrible. When it's horrible. Dylan did the same as well. He walked out of one because he was like, I'm not doing this.
If you're an event organizer and you want to have a cypher prelim, think that
Regulate
you have
it.
to engineer the moment.
Engineer the moment.
Can't just let it happen.
Yeah.
She's
So yeah, this
consistent,
one I think needs a little bit more
Engineering. The moment.
engineering rather than just a
Letting everyone
because
at
you're
it.
already engineering the moment by saying whoever's in there. If it was a normal cipher, it's a normal cipher. If you're engineering it and saying the judge is going to choose someone from this, you're already throwing something into the mix. So then fix what you've started and don't just let people kill each other. It's like fucking Hunger Games in some of these things. But
How many more do we have? I feel like we've been talking for a super long time.
how long are we on?
One more. 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ooh, child.
Damn.
Last
That's
but not
long.
least,
No, that's normal.
lack of house battles in the UK.
Super easy. Event organizers react to the community. The community shouldn't react to the event organizers. If there was more things happening for house, there would be battles put on, because it's people want money. And the reason popping and breaking and hip hop are in so many battles is because the demand for them is huge. There's so many. If you put on a breaking battle, loads of people are going to show up. If you put on a popping battle, loads of people are going to show up. If you put on a house battle at this current moment, you get 7 signups, and that's why they've dropped off.
It's interesting because I feel like at some point we were speaking about this, and it was like, is it still the case with locking as well?
Yeah, I think I think house and
Right,
locking,
right.
but I think locking is more the style. Like people aren't as interested in the style. I think worldwide, there's a lot of people that love house and that do it.
Right. It's just here at the moment.
I just think here at the moment there's less people, and you have like we have some of the best house dancers in the world who are from here, but it's like if they're all out of the country, there's not a lot of other people.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's not that we have a level problem. We just have a numbers problem. So it's like you might put on a house battle at your thing, and the finals might be Frankie J versus Clara, and that's an international level battle. However, there won't be enough to fill the top 8 after that. So it's like you literally need to have battles where it's like 30 plus people are signing up for prelims in order for there to be a demand for the battle. And there used to be a lot of house battles, but it's literally declined because, and I've spoken to organizers, it's like they put on a house battle, it's like there's no one enters. They put on a house battle, no one enters. All right, eventually I'm not putting on a house battle anymore.
Yeah.
Like you gotta, and this is where it's like when we talk about supporting stuff, it's like if you're a house dancer and you want there to be more events, when a house battle is on, you have to make, and it's a shame and it's not fair, but you have to make way more of an effort to go to those than I do as a popper. I could not go to 7 popping battles. There'll still be popping battles. If you like take a week off or you're doing this or you're traveling or whatever, which, you know, you might need to do, but then you can't complain that there's no house battles because it's like you've got to push people into doing
also,
it.
I feel like if you compare like house to hip hop and popping, for example, it's like I feel like in the house culture there's a lot more of emphasis on like going clubbing and like you know, like that dance existing in that space and it not being like a confrontational exchange. Whereas I feel like popping and hip hop, like
They love that shit.
like people I feel like some house dancers that I know, like they're gonna go to a house club and just like get down all night. Like hip hop and popping dancers don't really do that as much.
It's like you might go out clubbing, but it's very rare you go out clubbing to do hip hop or to do popping.
To like go dance full out.
And do rounds.
I feel like maybe there's also this thing of like, I don't, that's how I feel like about it since I'm here, but with house it's more of like a group and community thing. Like people tend to like come together and form like some kind of organization or like groups or whatever, so they organize, like those groups would organize events, but it's never like really individual. So like if there's like 3 big groups that are formed, like they're the only one that are doing events, whereas like with hip hop there's a lot of like individuals that pop up and like it's always like it's constantly like I
see what you mean. Yeah, so maybe like let's say within the house it's like in the house are going to run an event, but then that takes away the fact that Joelle could run an event, Clara could run an event. I kind of see what you mean. That's interesting. I think it's just like you got to push the community in whatever way. If you want there to be more house battles, you got to push the community in whatever way you can, whether that's putting on your own nights, putting on your own jams. I guarantee you, if there's a regular house jam that happens every week and you've got 50 people packing out a dance studio and there's videos and there's footage, again, marketing yourself on social media, and we see that there's that, I guarantee you house battles or house categories will start popping up. In terms of house only events, that's a whole different thing because that's people in the community should do that. Because at the moment, like you might have a multi-style battle and there's like pop-in, hip-hop and blah, blah, blah. If you want to be included in those as a category, fine. House only events where it's like 4 to the Floor does it. And what's the other one? There's an Empire House.
Empire Jam. Empire.
They put on house events and it's for the house community. So first of all, fucking pack those out if you're a house dancer or you're interested in house, because that will show that we need more of them and that there's a demand for it. But it's purely demand. The more people that want to do a thing. I mean, there was fucking dancehall 2-on-2 at Just Taboo one year. Like
that's true.
Dancehall is not like that type of battle style like how but there was enough people doing dancehall that Just Taboo went, you know what, let's put this on. And I'm sure they got their sign ups, so it's like but if there's enough people it will happen.
One more thing is that also for popping and hip hop, I think there's also this thing with the music that it's more similar. So like if you go if you do an event and it's like popping, hip hop, and then you have house, like it's so random, like it's really like,
and the house dancers don't really vibe with the other music, whereas if I'm a hip hop dancer and I go to a popping event, I still kind of enjoy the music. Maybe I hear that. You're so done. She's like, how long have we been going? Feels like ages. I want to be done. All right, should we wrap it up? Any last words? Go, last words.
Moment engineering.
Last words.
I said I'd be on my phone once. I've been on it for a good half the pod.
She's like, I've been on it once, but for an hour and a half.
With breaks.
But I think my input was okay.
Your input is always okay. Yay. More than okay. Only my house number. Don't know, that's what your pants say.
Chinese.
Racist. Last words.
My English was more okay today.
Yes.
Look at her critiques. Back to the lab styling.
And my last words are, Thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been another episode of The Capsule. Catch you next week.
Bye. Engineering moments since 1990.